for the Red Sox. Adrian Gonzalez, a hot hitter, a talented hitter, and Bobby Valentine, a hitter that we have seen over the last couple of days, can also make some great adjustments.
Adjustments indeed. Maybe a triple crown candidate. He knows his body. He knows his swings. Great hitters adjust during the season and adjust during the game. Yesterday, in his first at-bat after being beat by a high fastball by CC Sabathia, he strikes out. Then a fastball in. He gets jammed and grounds out the first. He tells his manager, I'm going Ichiro next at-bat. I'm clearing my body. He cleared his body so he could clear his hands, get his head to the ball, hit the home run, and prove that he's one of the true great hitters in the game of baseball.
And he's standing by at field level right now with our Wendy Nix. Wendy?
Dan, thank you very much. Adrian, after a slow April, you are tearing the cover off the ball in May. What changed?
Well, I was getting hits in April, and I kept saying that, for me it was just a matter of staying behind the ball and staying through it, and coming off the ball a lot in April. I still hit good for average, so it was good, but lately this month I've been able to stay behind it and through it.
With a win tonight, the Red Sox have an opportunity to reach that 500 mark for the first time this season. What would that mean for this club?
Well, I don't think it's as big deal, but just getting wins, getting to 500, which we had a few opportunities, haven't been able to take advantage of, and just get us on the roll. Win tonight would be great, just so it could be our first sweep and allow us to, like you said, to get to 500 and just try to continue good winning momentum.
Adrian, thank you. Dan?
Wendy, thank you very much. So not a big deal, Adrian Gonzalez says, for the Red Sox to get to the 500 mark on this night. But what is a big deal here in New York, what has been the big deal here in New York over the last 24 hours, Jorge Posada asking out of the lineup last night after he was put in the 9th spot. He did not play last night. This generated a huge firestorm here in New York for the latest. Here's Buster Olney.
Dan, Jorge Posada diffused the fallout from Saturday's events, going in early this afternoon and apologizing to manager Joe Girardi. And when he met with the media afterward, he was emotional. And he said he had a bad day on Saturday, and he had a day that he wishes that he could take back. In that meeting, Joe Girardi said, look, Jorge, an apology is great, but I want to see you get back to playing with joy. Dan?
All right, Buster, thank you. So take us inside the manager's office. You've gotten your apology. Is the issue done now?
They're ex-teammates. They've been together a long time. Jorge's been here for 17 years, a great Yankee. You do not take yourself out of the lineup. That was incorrect. That was something that he'll have to live with the rest of his life, and it should not be emulated by other players in the major leagues or in the little leagues or high school. The manager puts the lineup out. You go out there and play. Talk about it after the game.
Let's bring in Oral Hershiser now. The captain of the Yankees, Derek Jeter, said no apology necessary to the rest of the team. Again, time to move on. Agree?
Yeah, the story is over. As far as Derek Jeter's concerned, he doesn't have to have a team meeting. He talks this through the media. His quote is no apology needed. That's what Derek Jeter says. Let's concentrate on the game. We've lost 8 out of 11 games. We've got the Red Sox, who are supposed to be taking care of this division this year, but we're still in second place. They're below us. Let's not get swept. Let's concentrate on the field.
By the way, Posada not in the lineup tonight, but that's because there's a lefty on the mound, and he does not have a single hit this year against a left-handed pitcher, so Andrew Jones will again be the designated hitter for the Yankees. Coming up tonight, we'll size up the American League East, which right now, all 5 teams are closely bunched together. A look around the majors. Carl and the gang on the Baseball Tonight will bring you all the highlights from today and this evening in baseball, and it was 70 years ago today that Joe DiMaggio began his historic 56-game hitting streak. We'll take a look back at that incredible accomplishment. Freddie Garcia on his way in. The Yankees and Red Sox are coming up.
This was supposed to be the year of Red Sox hot and New York old. That's what they all said. Boston was going to run away with it. The aging Yankees were going to trail along behind. The Yankees. Everyone said so. So now both are answering questions. The Yankees about staying on top. And the Sox about having to claw back from an ice-cold start. You just know when these two great rivals meet, you throw the script out the window. The bad news never seems to matter.
It is one of the great rivalries, not only in Major League Baseball, but in all of professional sport. The Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees, with the Red Sox trying to complete a sweep here in the Bronx to get to the 500 mark against the suddenly reeling Yankees, who have lost 4 in a row and 8 of their last 11. Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, presented by Taco Bell. You can follow Buster Olney and Wendy Nix tonight on Twitter. Also like us on Facebook at facebook.com/ESPN Baseball Tonight. Terry Francona very excited about the way his team is playing recently. They're getting some good starting pitching. Some of the bats are starting to heat up. Other guys aren't quite where he would like them to be. But the Red Sox, after a dreadful start to the season at 2-10, are now 19-20 as we present the Red Sox lineup, brought to you by Taco Bell. Hot is Jacoby Ellsbury. Dustin Pedroia batting second. Another very hot hitter is Adrian Gonzalez. They're waiting for Kevin Youkilis to start hitting like he can. David Ortiz batting fifth. J.D. Drew in right field batting sixth. Jed Lowry for the injured Marco Scutaro at short. Carl Crawford hitting better, still batting eighth. He's in left field, and the catcher tonight is Jared Saltalamacchia. On the mound tonight for the New York Yankees, 34-year-old Freddie Garcia.
And Freddie will be throwing everything but the kitchen sink up there tonight. He's mostly below big league average as far as velocity. But I'll tell you, this guy can pitch. He can make the ball move. He's got very little run support this year, a 2.61 ERA. And you look at the run support on the rotation down near the bottom, he should be better than 2-2.
On a night where a lot of rain was in the forecast, so far so good. It's breezy with the flags blowing out from right field to left field, but it has cleared up a little bit. No rain in the last couple of hours, and we'll keep our fingers crossed it stays that way here tonight. As Jacoby Ellsbury, who's hitting .367 in his last 22 games to raise his overall average to .301, steps in. The crowd noise picks up. We're ready for baseball. Trademarks here at Yankee Stadium as they go around the field, and every player on the field for the Yankees acknowledges Bald Vinny and the rest of the gang out on the bleachers. So I guess you can hear the fans in the stands, huh? You can't tune it out.
Not only can they hear it, but they wait for it, and they have their little way of recognizing.
One of the trademark things here at Yankee Stadium, old stadium and new. 2-2 the count on Ellsbury. Chanting Jorge, although he is not on the field, of course, not in the lineup even tonight. Fly ball, left center field, and a running, sliding catch by Gardner to rob Ellsbury of a base hit.
Well, that's why Ellsbury's hitting as well as he is lately. He's using the entire field. He gets his pitch up in the zone, hits it perfectly. Gardner races it down because he has excellent speed and took a perfect angle on that ball, Earl.
One out here in the top of the first, and here's Dustin Pedroia, who might get booed louder than any other member of the Red Sox. But as Reggie Jackson himself said, they don't boo nobodies, and Dustin Pedroia sure isn't a nobody. Former MVP in the American League, and Terry Francona said, you know what, if If I got nothing else to worry about other than Dustin Pedroia, I'm doing okay. There's a ground ball to short for Pedroia. Comes in hitting .253. 2 down. Pedroia did have 3 hits in last night's game. Has been in an extra base hit drought. We'll explore that a little bit later. Here's a guy who has not been in an extra base hit drought. Adrian Gonzalez. 5 home runs in his last 4 games and is now the American League leader in RBIs with 34.
He is the hitter that they thought they were going to get, that they had coveted, and is now producing at the same level they projected.
And especially here in the month of May, he is #1 in the majors in so many offensive categories. Homered on Friday night, homered on Saturday night. In a 2-game series in Toronto this week, hit 2 home runs Tuesday and another one Wednesday. And what we've seen, the 3 home runs in Toronto were all to left field. The 2 home runs here in New York, including one off CC Sabathia, were to right field.
Before the season started, I said he's a Triple Crown candidate, and I believe that's the case.
Chase is down low. 1-2.
When he hit the fastball in yesterday off of CC, not only did the Yankees recognize that he could make adjustments, and CC recognized that, but the whole league recognized that. And he has a hole inside, but when he is looking for it, when he is sitting on it, he has shown that he will make the adjustment and he will make you pay.
2 down, nobody on. The Red Sox batting in the top of the first. And the pitch misses outside. 2-2. So even though you saw him cheat and hit a home run inside, Oral, are you still coming in there to get him out?
What he's telling you as a hitter is that I will allow you to know where my hole is. I will hit my normal style until a key position or where I can hurt you. Kirk Gibson, who I played with, said, you might get me out of 1 for 4, but that 1 is going to hurt.
And Gonzalez has hurt the Yankees in the first 2 games of this series.
I don't think Freddie has enough to get in there or with anything except for a ball pitch. Now that it's 3-2, Adrian knows he can look out of the plate.
Got him. Swings over the top of an off-speed pitch to strike him out and end the inning as the Red Sox go in order. John Lester to the mound for Boston when we come back to the Bronx. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. And in part by Nissan. Innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow, innovation for all. And by Scotts, the official lawn care company of Major League Baseball. Welcome back. Bottom of the first here at Yankee Stadium. Dan Shulman to Bobby Valentine, Oral Hershiser, and the New York Yankees starting lineup tonight. The batting order presented by Taco Bell. Derek Jeter leading off against the left-hander tonight. Curtis Granderson with a dozen homers, batting second. Mark Teixeira hitting third. Alex Rodriguez scuffling a little bit in the cleanup spot. Also Robinson Cano not on a tear right now. He's batting fifth. Nick Swisher, another hitter who's a little bit cool right now. He's hitting sixth. Andrew Jones DHing and batting seventh. Russell Martin catching and batting eighth. And Brett Gardner, who is a hot hitter, one of the few for the Yankees right now. He's in left field and batting ninth. Here is the captain, Derek Jeter, hitting .267 on the season. 35 hits shy of 3,000 in his career. And he has picked it up in the last week and a half, including that big game a week ago in Texas. Jeter was surrounded today, and I mean surrounded. Had to be 50 or 60 members of the media surrounding his locker today. They didn't want to talk to Jeter about Jeter. They wanted to talk to Jeter about Jorge Posada and what went on last night with Posada asking out of the lineup. Jeter described Posada. He said he's like a brother to me. They've been together 17, 18 years. And really quickly, in Jeter's estimation, he said if Posada did anything that Jeter didn't think he should do, he would talk to him about it. But he didn't say whether he thought he did something he shouldn't do and whether he talked to him about it. But most importantly, he said he doesn't think Posada needs to apologize to the team. In Jeter's mind, it's a done deal and it's time to move forward. Same sentiments echoed by Joe Girardi, the manager of the Yankees, before the game, to whom, by the way, Posada went into his office and apologized to. And Posada was quite emotional, apparently, with Girardi, and also visibly emotional right at his locker in front of all the members of the media as well when he issued or when he talked about his apology to Girardi.
He said he had a bad day and made a bad decision. And I think with his pedigree and his track record, all will be forgiven.
Jeter lays off a cutter that just misses the outside corner from John Lester. Lester, as we just saw, will throw the cutter away to the outside part of the plate against the righties. He'll also come in on the hands of the righties with it. And Jeter gets a piece to stay alive. That's the four-seamer there, Oral, at 93. He's got a nice mix of pitches, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's going to throw the four-seam fastball that's going to come out of his hand, and you're going to see it, and it's going to go straight, and it's going to aim for one corner or the other. Then he's going to throw one that's called a cutter that looks like it's a four-seamer, and then it's going to cut, and it's going to cut from his left side going right or inside to a right-handed hitter. And like Dan said, it'll nip the outside corner, or he'll try and bury it under a right-hander's hands.
Ball and 2 strikes to count on Jeter. Big breaking ball down and in. It hits the foot of Jeter, and he'll take his base.
Getting a little too creative there, Earl.
I'm not sure if it hit him or not, because Mike Everett, the home plate umpire, did not signal first base until Derek Jeter took off. See where this curveball, this is not the cutter but the curveball, and no.
Hit the back heel of his back foot, huh?
Might be the back heel, but
yep,
yes. There it is. Derek has feigned being hit before.
Well, there was a game, we were doing the game last year on the Monday show down in St. Petersburg, where the ball hit the knob of the bat, but he shook his hand as if he'd been hit, and he was given first base. Here's Granderson. And Granderson has been a big story for the Yankees this year. Second in the American League in home runs behind only Jose Bautista of the Blue Jays. Granderson has 12 already, and 5 of them have come off lefties, which is as many as he hit off lefties all of last year. What's the reason for the improvement, Bobby, and for Granderson against lefties?
Well, we've talked before the game yesterday, and he made adjustments with Kevin Long. He closed his stance up, basically became more confident because he's seeing the ball better and has a more efficient swing with his hands in this position. What he did when he first got here was more open. You see on the left-hand side his hands were in front of his chest. He moved his hands back and he closed off his stance. You'll see that his right foot is now closer to home plate than it used to be. by about 4 inches. It just keeps everything more compact. You see how close he is to the plate now with his right foot.
A little chopper back to the first base side of the mound. Underhanded on to first by Lester for the out. Jeter to second.
Do not be mistaken, this is a big game for the Red Sox. A euphoric feeling coming out of spring training, into spring training with this roster expecting a championship. John Lester to carry the weight of getting them back to 500 today. Always been a strikeout pitcher, and is that again this year. 4th in the American League. So you see he fits right into that graphic, right above Jared Weaver. What do you think about the Boston Red Sox assembling this roster and thinking about world championships and then going 2-10 and almost burying themselves for a while? But now they have a chance to crawl out of that hole in Yankee Stadium with a sweep.
Mark Teixeira, the batter, with a strike taken to the knees. Teixeira with a base hit in the 8th inning of last night's game snapped an 0-for-30 drought against Boston pitching, extending back to last year. 9 home runs on the season. Jeter at second with 1 out. And Teixeira lines a base hit up the middle into center field. Around third is Jeter. The throw will come into second base, and the Yankees have an early 1-0 lead.
Unless he throws a basic solid fastball, Mark Teixeira just hits it right back from whence it came. He just stays right on this ball. Right back through the middle. And I'll tell you what, any anxiety, any emotion that's been around the Yankees as far as the Jorge Posada situation, some of it just got relieved right there with that RBI in the first inning.
Yankees looking to avoid a sweep. They're 20-17 right now. The Red Sox are 19-20. It's a very tightly bunched division. Alex Rodriguez is the batter. The Tampa Bay Rays lead the division right now, although they lost today 9-3 to Baltimore. A-Rod, as you can see, just 1 home run in his last 73 at-bats and only 4 hits in his last 28 at-bats. Remember, he started the season very well. Came in, good frame of mind, got off to a great start. Little oblique strain cost him a couple of days and hasn't quite been the same since.
Dan, he was as mechanically sound a hitter as I had ever seen at the beginning of the season. He was on every pitch. He was starting very calmly and very slowly. After the injury, he changed his leg kick a little, and he hasn't been right since.
Pitch looked outside, but Lester gets the call. Mike Everett, the home plate umpire, and the count is now 1-2. Here are the numbers for Rodriguez pre and post injury, and you can see a significant difference. That leg kick you're talking about, Bobby, do you think that was a conscious change or compensating? What do you suspect?
I think he tried to shorten his swing, which is one of those crazy turns that's out there these days, which means nothing and only gets people into trouble.
Lester staring down Teixeira at first, and the 1-2 to A-Rod. Swing and a miss. He got him for out number 2.
This little better location, a little sharper break to it. Gets Alex Rodriguez to swing over the top of it. This is a very sharp cutter. Love that super slow-mo where you can just see the mechanics of Alex kind of break down because visually he was fooled, so the mechanics physically start to break down.
So 2 down in the inning, a 1-0 Yankee lead here in the bottom of the first. And here's Robinson Cano, who has cooled off as well. Still has some big numbers with 9 homers, 25 RBIs. The Yankees right now definitely not clicking on all cylinders offensively. Granderson's done a great job. Brett Gardner's hitting great lately, but they're not hitting in the clutch. They went 0 for 10 with the runners in scoring position last night. And again, A-Rod, Swisher, Jeter to a certain extent, although he's heated up lately. Cano right now. Some of the big names in this lineup are not delivering as they so often have. Line into left field. That's a base hit for Cano. Up to second on the play goes to Sheriff.
Dan, they haven't been hitting and delivering in the clutch, but they also haven't been fielding or playing good, sound, fundamental baseball. Or I think they started this season built on the home run. They have scored more runs, over 50%, on the home run than any other team in baseball, and I think they started to rely on that and think that that was their only way of winning a ball game. Consequently, they're struggling now trying to put things together on defense and offense.
They've got a run and a base hit by Teixeira this inning. They got 2 men on with 2 down for Nick Swisher. Hitting just .222 on the season. And with the runners in scoring position and 2 down this year, he is 0 for 15. As mentioned, that's been another big problem for the Yankees. Guys with track records, big time track records, especially guys like A-Rod, Jeter. The clutch hitting, the scoring position numbers are dismal, really, for both teams. Both down in the 220s as a team, hitting with the runners in scoring position. And these are teams, Oral, when they're going well, they wear you out, and then they deliver the clutch hit. But they have not done that so far this season.
And they are facing a tough hombre on the mound today that they need to capitalize on when they set the table.
On the corner for a strike, and the count is 2-1. Rodriguez striking out in his opportunity with a man on this inning. Swisher still has the count in his favor. A big moment here early, a chance for Swisher to deliver and extend the Yankee lead in the first inning against John Lester. Now to play off to the right, 2-2. There is a feeling here in New York that the Yankees had everything in their favor early. Tampa Bay was struggling. Boston started 2-10. But the Yankees, who started well, then as Bobby said, the defense got sloppy. The clutch hitting dried up. And they allowed everybody else to get near them, and in the case of the Rays, to get past them here at about the quarter pole of the season. Grounded to short, and the flip to second to force the runner and end the inning. Mark Teixeira delivers with an RBI single. It's 1-0 Yankees at the end of one, an early lead for Freddie Garcia. Welcome back to Yankee Stadium. Top of the second, 1-0. The Yankees lead as Kevin Youkilis leads it off for the Red Sox. He takes a strike from Freddie Garcia. After Youkilis, it'll be David Ortiz and then J.D. Drew. Youkilis hit a big home run on Friday night, a 2-run shot. Good breaking ball on the corner from Garcia, and he's quickly out in front, 0-2. This is not the hard-throwing, intimidating Freddie Garcia from his younger years with Seattle. This is a kitchen sink Freddie Garcia as he misses down and away. He's not quite a full-fledged Levon Oral, but he's headed in that direction.
He's getting close. 2001 was 18-6 with 305. He led the league in innings pitched, ERA.
Youkilis chases. The ball skips away from Martin, and Youkilis will reach. So it'll be a strikeout and presumably a pass ball. We'll wait for the scoring, but either way, Youkilis is at first base.
Russell Martin would like to have that one back. Freddie Garcia was not a pitcher of this type back in Seattle in 01. This is a split finger that he pulls a little bit. Russell Martin was expecting that ball to come back towards him and not be going towards the left-hand batter's box. Freddie got the action he wanted. He got the off-speedness he wanted. He just didn't get it in his catcher's glove.
So Youkilis aboard to lead off the second for the Red Sox, and here's Big Papi. It is a pass ball charged to Russell Martin. David Ortiz steps in, off to a much better start than he's gotten the last couple of years when he wound up finishing with good numbers. Lines the ball into right field. That's a base hit. Youkilis to second. The ball was bobbled by Swisher, but Youkilis holds his ground at second, and the Red Sox with a threat going.
Again, interestingly enough, there was no shift on Papi there with the runner on first. Cano was playing in regular double play depth. Usually you have two guys on the right side of the infield, especially with a slow throwing Freddie Garcia on the mound, and that ball normally is hit right to into the shift. Instead, base hit.
Now J.D. Drew, another left-handed batter. Again, the Yankees basically straight away, playing him to pull just a little bit on the infield. Curveball for a strike. Drew hitting just .238, a couple of homers, only 8 RBIs right now. The Yankees got a run in the bottom of the first, and the Red Sox with a threat brewing here. 2 on, nobody out in the second.
Well, and Dan, you know, this is a situation you figure they're going to score a lot of runs, but they want to get that run back for Lester, their ace. You have A-Rod playing in left field here, first and second, no outs. J.D. has excellent speed. He's a fastball hitter. He's not going to get a fastball. Why not just put a bunt down? Probably be the bases loaded, at least get the guys over.
Would you feel comfortable as a manager asking a guy to do something he doesn't normally do because the situation dictates it?
Well, I'd like to know that a guy can do that, especially with a talented player like J.D. Drew. I'm sure he's done it a few times in his life, and I know it's early in the game. You're looking for 3 runs with that short fence, but why not take advantage of the situation? I mean, A-Rod has no chance of throwing him out on a bunt.
2-1 the count.
You know, Bobby, I always like to talk to my teammates also about the residual effect of the bunt attempt, because it shifts the defense then in the future, which then they don't have to hit into a tough defense. They hit into a weaker defense because they have to cover the bunt. So you're not asking someone to bunt all the time. You're asking them to expose the defense to the bunt. So maybe you get a hit and help this jam.
Remember, Earl, and guys, I'm talking about bunting for a base hit in this situation. Right. I'm not talking about a sacrifice bunt here in the second inning. I'm talking about an easy play. You could do it in Little League. He's throwing 82 miles an hour. It's not a situation you're going to pop it up. Just set the angle, put the bunt down, and create a rally. Now we have 3-2.
Fouled back by Drew. The pass ball that was charged to Russell Martin, by the way, is the 4th passed ball in the last 4 games committed by the Yankees. And their defense, if you just look at the raw numbers, the errors, their defense isn't good. But when you add in the pass balls and the mental mistakes that the Yankees have been making defensively, the defense gets even worse.
And that's exactly what Joe Girardi had a post-game meeting about 3 days ago. get your heads in the game, play the game the way it's supposed to be played.
Again, the 3-2. And he missed outside, and the Red Sox have the bases loaded with nobody out.
Freddie Garcia, the best in baseball with runners in scoring position this year so far. 2 for 30, 067. Well, he's going to need that right now.
I think it's time for a little progression towards the mean. If you know what I mean.
Well, and in another sense, if that's going to be true, Freddie Garcia has never, ever in the major leagues allowed a grand slam. Was it Jim Palmer, I think, who went through his entire career never allowed a grand slam? The most innings pitched by an active pitcher without ever allowing a grand slam, Freddie Garcia, almost 2,000 innings in the big leagues. Jed Lowry is the batter for the Red Sox. The shortstop hitting .325. First pitch swinging, drives the ball to center. Granderson still going back, makes the catch. Tagging and coming in to score is Youkilis. Ortiz into third. Holding at first is Drew. A sac fly ties the game.
Lowry's in this lineup because Scudero's on the disabled list and because he's an outstanding offensive player. There he took a fastball, drove it to center field for the first RBI and run for the Red Sox. But talking with Tim Bogart, their infield instructor, and talking with Tito before the game today, they love Lowry as an offensive player and think that on defense he is more than adequate and can do the job.
Ortiz huffing and puffing a little bit over at third base. Drew at first, one out, a run into tied, and here's Carl Crawford as Terry Francona looks on in the third base dugout. Crawford hitting much better the last couple of weeks. .321 in his last 13 games. That brings him to .213 on the season as he continues to hit down in the order, hitting in the 8th spot. Terry Francona says they'd love to move him up, and they plan to move him up somewhere higher. But who do you move out? And this has been the big problem. It affects other people in the Red Sox lineup. Just outside with a backdoor breaking ball. 2-0. Crawford starting to perform a little bit more like the Crawford that everybody down in Tampa Bay got a chance to watch over the last 7-8 years. Little squibber toward third. A-Rod coming home, and they get Ortiz in a slide at the plate.
Tim Bogart, the third base coach down there, is a fabulous baseball man, is kind of second guessing this a little because I'm not sure A-Rod could throw Crawford out on his ball, and Ortiz stays there. There's no way they're turning a double play, obviously. He could have just followed A-Rod down the line as he's coming in and read that ball. If he threw to first base, he could have walked home. Instead, he was trying to beat this play to the plate, and there was no chance of that.
So first and second, 2 down after the play. Scored a fielder's choice for Crawford. He's getting a workout running the bases here this inning. And the batter with 2 down is the catcher, Jared Saltalamacchia. Hitting .203 without a home run. First pitch swinging. Lifts a fly ball to shallow left field, and the inning is over. The Red Sox get that run back. Freddie Garcia, they have tied it up. 1-1 going to the bottom of the second here in the Bronx. Red Sox and Yankees Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, tied at 1 going to the bottom of the second. Andrew Jones DHing for the Yankees tonight, hitting in the 7th spot in the lineup. Jones was the guy who got the start last night after Jorge Posada asked out of the lineup. And again, the reason Posada's not in there tonight has nothing to do with last night. Posada doesn't have a hit, 0 for 24 against lefties this year, so Jones gets the start. And a strike taken, 2-1. One last note on Jorge Posada, then maybe we can put this story to bed. Let's go down to the field. Here's Buster Olney.
Dan, we talked about how Jorge Posada went into Joe Girardi's office and apologized today. That apology has been accepted. The Yankees have announced they will not fine Jorge Posada. They're trying to turn the page.
Andrew Jones turns on one and lines it out for a home run. His second of the season, and the Yankees go back on top. Jones, a guy who is playing sporadically but figures to get playing time against lefties, and he drilled that ball. Smiles all around in that Yankee dugout. John Lester very effective against the Yankees earlier this season. As the curveball misses low, but gives up a run in the first on an RBI single by Mark Teixeira, and now a long home run by Andrew Jones.
Russell Martin faked a bunt there, and that's a good idea. Youkilis, who's a fabulous player, is not good at coming in on the ball. I think before the year's over, he'll be exposed on the ball that he has to come in on bare hand and throw off balance. He's good at balls at him and his backhand. But coming in and trying to make the play on the run is not his forte.
Of course, moved back across the diamond, back to third base this year with the acquisition of Adrian Gonzalez. Just off the outside corner. Martin really got off to a great start this year. He's down to 245 right now, but he's still been productive. 7 homers, 22 RBIs, and playing a lot. Francisco Cervelli now healthy as the backup. Ball drops low, 3-1.
And he was the catcher that the Boston Red Sox said was not healthy enough to be an everyday player, and he's playing every day for their competitor.
Ball 4.
Okay, when you get the ball up to Andrew Jones over the years here in the K zone, he knows what to do with it. If this is just a flat cutter, center cut, as our boy Aaron Boone likes to say, and with a perfect swing, he got firm, he got turned, and he delivered.
And nobody happier for Andrew Jones than Jorge Posada. As the Yankees take a 2-1 lead here in the bottom of the second. Got a runner at first and Russell Martin. And the red-hot Brett Gardner at the plate as Youkilis creeps in on the grass at third. Gardner shows bunt, takes it down and away, ball 1. Gardner's hitting over 400 in his last 18 games. And always a threat to put a bunt down.
Against a tough left-hander, I like the bunt here. I like it as a base hit, as an offensive play. I think it could be first and second and no outs if he puts it down.
Pops it up and caught by Gonzalez for out number 1.
He tried to take that with him. You know, why doesn't he go to third base with that ball? That's his natural way of doing it. He tried to take the ball with him to go by the pitcher. Gonzalez is such a terrific fielder there. There it is. He creates the angle where he's pointing the head of the bat toward third base. And then instead of going down with 2 hands, he goes down with just 1 hand. When you do that, it creates a poor angle of the bat and popped it up.
So Gardner can't execute. Runner still at first, 1 out. And back to the top of the order now for Derek Jeter, hit by a pitch and eventually came around to score in the bottom of the first. Martin runs well for a catcher, has a couple of steals so far this season.
And as well as Lester throws the ball to home plate, that's how poorly he throws it to the bases.
Does that surprise you? You talked about that. We had Lester on opening day in Arlington, and you talked about that then.
I guess runners just haven't gotten on in his career. He hasn't had a lot of practice.
And runners taking liberties against the Red Sox this year. The Red Sox have allowed 48 stolen bases so far this season. That is the most in baseball. And it doesn't seem to matter really whether it's Saltalamacchia or Varitek behind the plate. Cat and mouse between Lester and Martin, or that time Lester just staying in that set position longer to upset his timing.
Well, to shut down the running game, it really starts with the pitcher on the mound, holding the runners, changing his times, being quick to home plate. Then the responsibility after he does his job, John Lester, goes to the catcher.
There he goes, and then put the brakes on and came back. It's called strike 2. Boy, Martin was 3-4 steps on his way to second and then put the brakes on.
And it was an off-speed pitch that Derek Jeter saw in the corner of his eye that Russell Martin had to jump. He took it right down the middle. He could have stolen this easily. Instead, it's strike 2 on Derek. He's saying, oh, come on, Russell. Don't deke me like that. Deke them.
Two and two.
It's a big pitch in a big league game. You always know 2-2. You want to go after the hitter right now, the action pitch. You don't want to get to 3-2 and then have the opportunity of having that runner started. 3-2, 2 out is even more of an action pitch, of course, you know, but 3-2 to get there with 1 out is also a big pitch.
Fouled off by Jeter. John Lester won 4 consecutive starts heading into his last game. His last start was Tuesday in Toronto on 2 extra days of rest, 6 days of rest. The Red Sox tried to juggle their rotation a little bit, split up certain pitchers, get certain catchers who were catching certain pitchers split up a little bit, just get the rotation to their liking, also give Lester a couple of extra days off. He had been working hard in that 4-game win streak. Jeter fouls it off again. And it didn't go so well for Lester Tuesday against the Blue Jays. Gave up 5 runs, all earned in 5 1/3. Didn't get the loss. The Blue Jays won the game in extra innings. Gave up a couple of home runs in that game. Again, after winning 4 straight starts.
And Dan, during the winter, there's a lot of talk about the #1 starter, his value, thinking that he matches up against the other team's #1 starter all the time. That's not the case.
Three and two.
And here you have the #1 for Boston going against #5 for the Yankees. And last night you had the #1 for the Yankees going against #2 for Boston. So as the season progresses with off days, rainouts, and as you mentioned, some juggling of rotations, the matchups aren't what you think they are when you're talking about it during the wintertime.
You're running him here full count?
Absolutely. And Derek's going to try to hit that ball in the hole to right field.
Lester staring down Martin, who is running as Jeter hits a chopper towards short. Only play is to first. 2 down.
And there was a day that he could take that ball and just throw it out into right field. Instead, he rolled over this ball. He might have been thinking, Earl, that the shortstop was covering the way he rolled over this fastball. But here's Jeter seeing this. He used to inside out this ball so well to right field, but it was away and he pulled it. Protected the runner, but no first and third creation.
So Martin at second with 2 down, 2-1 Yankees after the home run this inning by Andrew Jones. And the batter was Curtis Granderson, retired on a ground ball back to the mound in the first. Down and away, and blocked by Saltalamacchia. Is the Red Sox catching guys a major concern at this point, offensively, defensively? Can they get through the season with Saltalamacchia and Veritek?
I don't think so.
I think defensively, when Veritek's behind the plate, they love the way he calls a game. Has been mostly assigned to Daisuke Matsuzaka and
Josh Beckett as well.
Josh Beckett.
Yep. And a strike at the belt, 1-1.
I think Saltalamacchia, even defensively, is a work in progress. The throwing is a work in progress. I think the pitch game calling is a work in progress. He couldn't have a better guy on his team as the number 2 in Jason Veritek to come along, but it's slow in coming.
Granderson drives the ball deep right field. Gone! Another home run off a left-handed pitcher by Curtis Granderson, his 6th this season, 13th home run overall. 4-1 Yankees in the bottom of the second. And there's Mark Teixeira to look at the strike. Bobby talked about the adjustment that Yankee hitting coach Kevin Long made with Granderson last year, how well he did at the end of last season and into this year, especially against lefties. Swing and a miss, 0-2. He's a dangerous hitter right now, Bobby.
He's a terrific hitter, and all that he and Kevin Long worked on was getting rid of wasted movement. Wasted movement with his feet, wasted movement with his hands, and now he's efficient.
13th home run of the season, a second in the American League. Curveball bounced foul.
The reason he's second is because Bautista hit 3 today.
He sure did.
We'll talk about that a little bit more in the next half inning when we look at the American League East. But Jose Bautista of the Blue Jays, 3 home runs today against Minnesota. The Blue Jays win 11-3. Bautista now has 16 home runs on the season, 6 of them this week.
Which makes 70 over the last 2 seasons thus far and counting.
Terry Francona's team looking for a sweep, down 4-1 early here tonight as the pitch is taken low by Teixeira.
Kevin Long there on the left, speaking with one of the home run hitters tonight, Andrew Jones. Hit a high fastball. Well, that was Cervelli.
Outside corner, strike 3 called. Teixeira doesn't like it. But the inning is over. 2 home runs in the inning off John Lester. Andrew Jones with a solo shot to lead off the inning, and then Curtis Granderson with the 2-run homer, 4-1 New York. Kyle, thank you very much. 4-1 Yankees top 3. Jacoby Ellsbury leads it off for Boston. A couple of home runs in the bottom of the second for the Yankees by Andrew Jones and Curtis Granderson off John Lester, giving them a 4-1 lead. Freddie Garcia with a little cushion right now. A guy who hasn't gotten a whole lot of run support from his teammates so far this year. A high changeup. Swung on and missed, and the count is 1-2.
Not by design.
No.
He made a mistake. He looked up out in the sky, out in center field, like, oh, I got away with one right there.
And now Ellsbury hooks the ball to right field. Off the wall on a bounce. And the speedy Ellsbury digging for second and in there ahead of the throw with a leadoff double.
Ball's up also, and Ellsbury does a good job keeping his hands above it as he comes at it to hit it on the line. It's a split finger or fork ball. Stays down and through, and even when you hit the high pitch, it's a slight uppercut. Nice job. Switch did a good job on this throw right here, playing this and getting himself lined up as the ball's coming down, just like you would on a fly ball. He did it with a ball bouncing off the wall.
Here's Dustin Pedroia.
Had himself lined up with that carom off the wall. He came down like he was catching a pop-up or a fly ball, and somebody was tagging up, but he had his body positioned towards second base.
Trying to throw out the fastest runner on the Boston team. No chance.
But it was a good effort.
On the outside corner, and we've seen I think you guys would agree, a consistently wide zone. I mean, he's calling it both ways, but it looks like pitchers are getting calls a little bit off the plate on that first base side of the plate.
I never bring attention to this. I like the wide zone.
Teixeira reacted angrily when he was called out as Pedroia tries to bunt for a base hit. Bunts it foul. The count is 1-2.
Yes, Dan, at the end of the last inning, Joe Girardi had to come out of the dugout to break up a little argument between Mike Everett and Mark Teixeira on the called third strike.
(4-1) Yankees, top of the third. Ellsbury at second. Nobody out for Boston. And a 1-2 from Freddie Garcia. There's a swing and a pop-up. Foul territory for Teixeira. One down. Well, Carl and Kurt and Barry were talking about some of the other exploits around Major League Baseball, including the incredible start to the season for Jose Bautista, who hit 54 home runs last year, and despite missing 8 games with injuries already this year, has 16 home runs. He has played in 32 games, has 16 home runs, and leads the American League in almost every significant offensive category. This is truly a remarkable start to the season for a guy who, because of where he plays and that he didn't have a big year until last year, still doesn't get a whole lot of attention. There's Adrian Gonzalez. Of course, if the Blue Jays contend, he'll start getting a lot more attention. And right now in the American League East, all 5 teams are separated by just 3.5 games. The Rays are on top, and the Orioles moved a half game ahead of the Red Sox, pending the outcome of this game tonight, with Baltimore's win over Tampa Bay today. Toronto is the hot team right now. They swept Minnesota. The Twins are having a dismal time right now, worst record in baseball. The Blue Jays have won 5 in a row. They get back to the 500 mark. And by the way, the Red Sox will go home and start a series with Baltimore tomorrow. The Yankees go down to Tampa Bay tomorrow. So a lot of action right now in the American League East.
A comparable story to the attention that Bautista is not getting is with Adrian Gonzalez, who's at the plate. When he was out in San Diego, we didn't hear an awful lot about him, but what he keeps producing with the numbers that he's putting up now as the 3rd hole hitter for the Boston Red Sox, he is really news.
And a strike, 3-1. Freddie Garcia, 34 years of age, the Yankees' 5th major league team. Ian Bartolo Colon giving the Yankees quite a bit more than maybe they expected they would need. But of course, Phil Hughes getting hurt. They didn't sign Cliff Lee. Andy Pettitte retired. And all of a sudden, instead of insurance policies, here are Colon and Garcia, big parts of the Yankee rotation. Ball 4. Gonzalez will draw the walk, so first and second, 1 out. Let's talk about the American League East, guys. Usually you go into the season thinking, oh, well, New York and Boston will be there, and Tampa Bay's had 2 great years in the last 3. Size up the division for me.
Well, for me, I think the Boston Red Sox are getting right back where they belong. I think they're going to make this jump and get by 500. When we look up at All-Star break, I think they're going to be at the top of the division.
I do also, but this is a better division than it's been in a long time. Baltimore and Toronto are there to stay. I think they're going to continue to improve as the year goes on, and the Rays are for real.
They are. Best record in the division in spite of all the losses. Lost their entire bullpen from last year. Not to mention Carl Crawford, Carlos Pena, Jason Bartlett, Matt Garza, and there they are leading the American League East. Kevin Youkilis takes a strike. Remember, Tampa Bay, they got off to a terrible start. They were 0-6, 23-11 since then, the best record in baseball. The pitching has been terrific. The defense has been very good. Longoria is back.
Very athletic team.
J.P. Howell on his way back soon to bolster that bullpen. 0-2. You know, one other thing to keep in mind, it's a distinct possibility that next year there will be one more wild card team in the playoffs in each league. And if you took a vote, it would be a race between Toronto, Baltimore, and Tampa Bay to see whose owners could get their hands up in the air faster to improve that. Because you conceivably next year could finish 3rd in your own division and make the playoffs. Two on, 1 out on the 0-2 to Youkilis. He lays off the breaking ball down and away.
Freddie Garcia will try to make him get himself out, which means he's going to throw pitches out of the strike zone. From an 0-2 count, now a 1-2 count. He's thinking about what can I have look like a strike, end up a ball, and maybe get a double play out of it.
Again down and away, 2-2.
Again, we talked earlier about that shift that was not on when Ortiz was hitting. Youkilis is one of the right-handed hitters in the league that you could actually shift in the infield. He's a dead pull hitter in the infield. All of his ground balls go to the left side. The Yankees are playing him way off the line on the right side, but still giving him a lot of hole between third and short.
Ellsbury at second. Gonzalez at first. And just outside. And given the strike zone, especially on that side of the plate for Mike Everett tonight, boy, Youkilis had to be holding his breath waiting for that call. Joe Girardi didn't like it.
Don't expect Freddie Garcia to give in right here. Don't think, oh, 3-2, 4-1 lead. It's going to be a fastball. I think that's the last pitch on the list.
And because he's such a pull hitter, you have to throw this ball to second base and try to get Adrian Gonzalez if the runners are running.
And now Garcia wants a meeting on the mound with Martin. Coverage of Major League Baseball continues this week on ESPN. Tomorrow at 7 Eastern to Monday Night Baseball. Ryan Howard and the Phillies taking on Albert Pujols and the Cardinals. Then Wednesday Night Baseball presented by Sears Lawn and Garden. It'll be the Phillies again, this time as they entertain the Colorado Rockies. Major League Baseball tomorrow and Wednesday on ESPN. And Garcia will step off. He's a little worried about Ellsbury out there at second base.
Well, he knows he's a contact pitcher. He knows they're going to go. He doesn't want him to get too good a jump, but I don't think he could throw this ball to third. You have to throw it to second, bluff the guy back at first base where Tex is standing.
Youkilis hooks it foul down the left field line.
I could tell you, if this is another year, another time with Kevin Youkilis hitting, they are definitely running. But because he's been slumping so much, he has been swinging and missing more this year than he has in the past. Terry didn't have him going, but this is a definite run situation, even down 3 runs here in the 3rd inning.
The Yankees up 4-1. Ellsbury at second, Gonzalez at first, 1 out and a full count on Youkilis as Garcia steps off again. Not in a rush. Big moment here. David Ortiz waiting on deck. And again the 3-2, and a fastball's lifted high in the air to deep left field. Youkilis has tied the game.
Why was the fastball the last pitch on the list? And I think Freddie Garcia is second-guessing himself right now because the breaking ball was lined foul the pitch before this, and a fastball right down the middle. He misses his target, but you see at 88 miles an hour, even Kevin Youkilis, who knows he's going to probably try and junk him to get him out, still doesn't have enough fastball to get by him when he's sitting breaking ball.
So the Yankees get 1 in the bottom of the 1st. Back come the Red Sox with a run in the top of the 2nd. And the Yankees get 3 in the bottom of the 2nd, and back come the Red Sox again to tie it, Bobby, in the top of the 3rd. Fouled off 1-1.
Sorry, Dan. I think you just have to give credit to Ellsbury being at second base. A pitcher must throw the pitch he wants, and he must throw it with conviction. You have to have 100% of your heart and soul into that pitch when you're pitching, and his attention was distracted because of the runner on second. I don't know why. He was 3-2. What are you worried about?
Ortiz rips a base hit into the right field corner. And the big fella's chugging on his way to second. The throw not in time. Ortiz 2 for 2 on the night.
You know, you step off the mound, you're looking at second base, you're worried about the jump the guy might get at second, Oral, and instead of throwing a good pitch, what's he do?
I'm not thinking he was worried or distracted with the man on second. I thought it was strategy to get Youkilis off of him and keeping a delay between pitches. But I'm with you. It's a possibility that he was worried about the runners. But he was in the 3-2 count for a few pitches, and the runners weren't going. So he knows that. I think he was actually kind of playing with the runners, thinking, I'm getting Uke off of me. I'm going to delay Uke and ruin his timing.
Whatever it was, there was no concentration on a
wasn't very
fastball
good
down the middle,
no.
Right?
Exactly.
He was distracted.
Both teams with 4 runs on 4 hits already. There have been 3 home runs in the game. Andrew Jones, Curtis Granderson for the Yankees. Kevin Youkilis just hitting one right now for the Red Sox. Boston looking to sweep and get to the 500 mark for the first time this season. Red Sox got off to a terrible start at 2-10. 3 times since then they have gotten within a game of the 500 mark, and all 3 of those times they have lost. Chopper by Drew. Jeter on the run will throw him out. Ortiz holds his ground, now 2 down. So this doesn't count them trying to get to 500 after losing their first game of the season at 0-1. 3 times since the bad start they have had a chance to win and get to the 500 mark. They haven't been able to do it. And all Terry Francona said was, it sure would be nice getting on that plane tonight with a 500 record. Ending the road trip, heading back home to start a homestand against the Orioles, the Tigers, and then the Cubs, as the Chicago Cubs will go to Fenway Park next weekend for the first time in 93 years since the 1918 World Series, and we will be lucky enough to be at Fenway Park for Sunday Night Baseball 1 week from tonight for the Cubs and the Red Sox. Jed Lowry the batter. Ortiz at second, 2 down. And he got under it. Jeter called off by Gardner to end the inning. But Kevin Youkilis on a 3-2 pitch hits his 7th home run of the season. 3-run shot to left. And now going to the bottom of the 3rd here at Yankee Stadium. The Red Sox have rallied again and have tied it at 4. "70 years ago today, Joe DiMaggio's historic 56-game hitting streak began back in 1941. A streak that many modern-day major leaguers still regard as maybe the most untouchable offensive record in baseball. A remarkable accomplishment. 12 games longer than anybody else during the live ball era. Pete Rose at 44 games, the next longest. Here's Alex Rodriguez. It's a little squibber off the end of the bat. First, Gonzalez flips to Lester for the out. 70 years ago, Joe DiMaggio won the American League Most Valuable Player, the same season in which he hit in 56 consecutive games. Ted Williams in that very same year hit .406, the last player to do that. And you know the numbers that really jump out at you? Go down to the bottom. Joe DiMaggio struck out 13 times that year. As Tim Kirchin, I think, said on Baseball Tonight earlier, some guys strike out 13 times in a week these days. Ted Williams struck out 27 times. Absolutely remarkable seasons. Joe DiMaggio won the MVP. Ted Williams finished second. The Yankees won the pennant. The Red Sox finished second. Just incredible seasons by two of the game's all-time great players, and really two of the game's great accomplishments, hitting .400 and the 56-game hitting streak.
Jimmy Rollins leaves spring training every year and tells his brother Antoine, I'm going to have the streak this year. But it's the golden grail, he says also, and every hitter thinks about it.
Cano lifts a fly ball to left center. Ellsbury makes the catch, 2 down. Well, right now, you can log on to Facebook.com/ESPN Baseball Tonight to vote on tonight's poll questions. 2 questions for you. Which accomplishment do you think is more impressive, DiMaggio's hit streak or Williams hitting .400? And which do you think is more likely to occur again, given the changes in baseball in the last 70 years? And one thing to mention is that obviously in 1941 you were much more likely to see the same pitcher for 4 or 5 at-bats in a game. Now 6th, 7th inning, if you're a left-handed batter, you know you're getting a lefty reliever coming out of that pen, and then a hard-throwing closer in the 9th inning. What do you guys think? Which is more impressive?
I think 56 in a row is my favorite. You know, I was honored to know both Joe DiMaggio and Ted Williams. They were fabulous men and players. For 56 in a row, I think, is impossible.
I don't know if it's impossible, but it is the one that I would rate. I'll tell you what, it's absolutely amazing to be that consistent.
Well, this year, Andre Ethier got to 30. That in itself is a remarkable accomplishment, and it was barely halfway to 56.
Jimmy Rollins, who I was quoting before, got to 35,
yep.
I think it was, in 05.
Yep. Paul Molitor got to 39 back a few years back.
But those are low numbers compared to 56.
Yeah. And one of the great things about Joe DiMaggio's hitting streak, it came to an end when a third baseman for the Cleveland Indians by the name of Ken Keltner made 2 great backhanded plays to finish the streak. The next game, DiMaggio started a 17-game hitting streak. If Keltner doesn't make one of those plays, it's a 74-game hitting streak for Joe DiMaggio.
Take a shot at that one, Bobby.
Yeah.
No, I don't think anybody's going to take a shot at 56.
2-2 on Swisher.
Hitting 400's a difficult feat, though, too. And Ted he did it by going 5 for 6 in the last game. He was hitting 399 going into the last game of the season. His first 2 hits get him over 400. He could have come out of the game. No, he kept playing, hit 406.
And the last 2 to have a shot at that was it Tony Gwynn and George Brett.
Yeah. Tony Gwynn hit 394 in the strike-shortened season of 1994. Who knows what might have been. Swisher is gone to end the inning. We're at the end of 3 here in the Bronx. The Red Sox and the Yankees are tied at 4. Carl Crawford looks at a strike to get the 4th inning underway here in the Bronx with Oral Hershiser, Bobby Valentine, Wendy Nixon, and Buster Olney. I'm Dan Schulman. It's Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, a 4-4 tie in the 4th. The Red Sox winning the first 2 games of this series. After Crawford, it'll be Jared Saltalamakia and then leadoff hitter Jacoby Ellsbury. Crawford reaching at a fielder's choice his first time up. Pulls it down to first. Teixeira dives for the bag and wins the race for the out.
Tell you what, great clock, right baseball clock by Mark Teixeira, making the diving play, which he does so well. Such an athletic first baseman. And then to get up, not go for the first step, I'll take the toss, default, because Freddie Garcia might even have gotten beat. You see them within a step. Mark goes with the dive and smart enough to use the glove when the feet are involved with Crawford.
Teixeira, by the way, is a 4-time Gold Glove Award winner. Now, he's got a newcomer in the competition this year with Adrian Gonzalez coming over to the American League. Gonzalez has won a couple in the National League, also a very good defensive first baseman. Saltalamacchia rips one past a diving Teixeira into right field. A base hit. Tuesday night on ESPN, don't miss the NBA Draft Lottery at 8:30 Eastern Time, and then it's Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. Oklahoma City earlier today on ABC defeating Memphis 105-90 to advance to the Western Conference Finals. Kevin Durant and the Thunder, Dirk Nowitzki and the Dallas Mavericks. Tuesday night at 9. The game also available online at ESPN3.com and on your phone. So the Thunder holding off the pesky, determined Grizzlies, winning that series in 7 games today. That young Oklahoma City team advancing to the Western Conference Finals against a veteran-laden Dallas Maverick team led by Dirk Nowitzki and Jason Kidd. Here's Ellsbury. Who you liking, Bulldog? You're a basketball fan.
I like Dallas. I think Dallas finally going to get over the hump, maybe win a championship. Dirk's been there so many times. Seems to play a little softer as the games get bigger, but I think he's got it now.
Hey,
sorry.
No.
Go ahead.
I got to call you on that one.
You're going to call me on?
I'm calling you on that.
All right.
Yeah.
I hope he's listening. I hope he inspires him.
I got to disagree with you on that one, my friend.
I lived in Dallas as the Ranger pitching coach for a while. I saw him for a few years. I was like, wish he was a little tougher.
A ball and a strike to count on Ellsbury. He has flied out and doubled and scored. Missing away is Garcia.
So you think he plays tough?
I think he's a great player.
I think he's a great player. I didn't say that.
I don't think he is the reason that they have lost earlier than they should have in the playoffs.
Just not enough pieces around him at that time?
Yeah.
Back to baseball.
Very disappointed.
That's too bad.
There's a strike, 2-2. Marty Aronoff's very disappointed.
That's too bad, Marty. I've seen you have people just tumble right into you over there.
A statistician who does a lot of NBA games on ESPN as well. 4-4 tie, 4th inning.
Marty just gave me a note, says now they have the best bench he's ever had since he's been there.
And that ball will hit Ellsbury. 2-2 breaking ball down and in gets Ellsbury. And the Red Sox have 2 men on with 1 out.
This ball just cuts inside, hits his shin as he's trying to get out of the way on a little split. Oh, it's the foot, not a shin. I think there should be some action pretty soon in the Yankee bullpen. No one's up yet, but Freddie is not in control of this game. Already has given up 2 leads that the Yankees have had, missing his spots by 2 and 3 feet at times. Joe's trying to figure out who it is. Here they go. Larry Rothschild going to the phone.
And now off the glove of Martin, but he corrals it before Saltalamacchia can advance. But it's a struggle right now for pitcher and catcher. Cross up, Oral?
Yeah, they're smiling about it. They crossed up on the signals. And Russell trying to make sure he doesn't have to swat flies anymore, get on the same page. It's a split finger that just comes out the top of his hand. He gives Mike Everett a little bell ringing.
Gets an assist. Should be 2nd and 3rd.
Yep, exactly. Russell saying thank you.
Here's Dustin Pedroia. He's 0 for 2 tonight. 3 for 4 last night. 2 on with the 1 out here in the 4th inning. And a strike.
Dustin Pedroia's slump has been mainly about not hitting the fastball in and not hitting with 2 strikes. And you'd think with Freddie Garcia on the mound with a lot of soft stuff and not a big fastball inside that this would be the type of pitcher that could bring him out of a slump.
pulled down to third. Rodriguez, Cano, Teixeira hitting over. Huge double play for Freddie Garcia. Conversation with Terry Francona, the manager of the Red Sox. When do we come back? On ESPN, presented by Taco Bell. The Red Sox and the Yankees are tied at 4 as we go to the bottom of the fourth. Between innings, had a chance to speak with Terry Francona. Began by asking Tito, after another Kevin Youkilis home run tonight, his second of the series, how big it is for Boston to get Youkilis going.
That's nice because, they get two. Lester leaves a couple cutters over. They hit him a long way, and then with one swing, we're right back in the game. You mentioned the home runs the Yankees have hit off Lester. Lester had 4 wins in a row. Different results the last 2 starts. What do you see? Well, tonight there were 2 cutters that were over the middle of the plate, and you've seen the Yankees enough. If you let them extend their arms, they're going to hurt you. But the good news is now we're back even, and he came back with a good comeback inning after we scored. Terry, thanks for joining us. Okay, guys. And our thanks to David Ortiz for playing along in the background there. Little number off the end of the bat up the first baseline. Andrew Jones is retired. That was our FaceTime with Terry Francona, presented by Edward Jones. So for the Red Sox, you've seen some good results. Youkilis starting to heat up, but Oral John Lester leaving a couple of cutters over the plate, as Terry Francona said, and the Yankees have made him pay. John's given up 9 home runs this year, and that's a lot for the big left-hander that has big-time strikeout pitches. But you say, why? Well, he likes to pitch up a little bit, and when he's up with the cutter and it's a little flat and he's been off his game, it can go a long way, like Terry said. 9's too many, but he fortunately has some victories and dominant outings in between those home runs. One of the reasons that the Red Sox, as Russell Martin steps in, one of the reasons the Red Sox juggled their rotation is to get their top 3 guys into this series. At the knees for a strike. Clay Buchholz delivered, got the win Friday night. Josh Beckett, 6 shutout innings, struck out 9, got the win last night. Now Lester struggling here on Sunday night, but his offense has helped him out, so he's tied at 4. And the Red Sox are hoping that they know what they can get out of the top 3 guys, but they haven't gotten that out of Lester his last 2 starts. The 4th and 5th starters are Daisuke Matsuzaka, who's hot and cold, hit and miss, and John Lackey, who Oral has an ERA of 8 right now. Is not happy times for John Lackey right now, but it is happy times for the Red Sox. I really don't think this is a pedestrian, regular season game for either one of these 2 teams. The Red Sox can get back to 500. The Yankees are lost in 8 of their last 11. They had an incident with Jorge Posada pulling himself out of the lineup about an hour before last night's game. There was kind of a firestorm they put beside them. But the slow start of the Red Sox and a chance to get to 500 and sweep the Yankees here
is huge.
Martin draws the walk. Second walk he's gotten tonight. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell, is brought to you by One A Day Men's, the official multivitamin of MLB, specially formulated for men. And by Cabot. Finish like a pro with Cabot wood stains. Cabot. That's pro. That's pro there. That's some serious business going on there. That's right here in the ballpark.
When a man's on base and you drive him in, you're picking up some steaks. You can pick them up right there at the butcher, too.
Wow.
But the Yankees want to pick them up on the field.
This place is unbelievable. Just the enormity of this structure, of this building. You know, old Yankee Stadium was big, and this place just absolutely dwarfs it. It's different. I don't know about you guys. I've never felt it has quite the atmosphere of the old place. It's a quieter vibe in this ballpark than it was in the old one.
I think the seats are more expensive, so the fans are a little less rowdy.
Mm-hmm. Funny how that works, huh?
You think they priced out noise?
No, well, we've got Curt Schilling, right? Who is Steve Martin is one of the celebrities looking on here at Yankee Stadium. We've got Curt Schilling out with Carl and Barry on the Baseball Tonight set right now. Mike Myers is in the house, taking in the Yankees and Red Sox.
It's like he's tweeting.
Back to the mound. Lester with a high throw. They get the out there, but not at first. Not a great feed from Lester, and Lowry did a good job keeping that foot on the bag.
It was on the bag for a while. Not sure if it was on the bag when the ball got to the glove, but he was there. Lester has to know the speed of this runner. This ball's hit off the end of the bat, and as he comes through, he steps up the mound. His foot was on the bag, but not when the ball was in the glove.
And Gardner just runs too well for them to turn two on that. So Gardner reaches on the fielder's choice, 2 down. And again, given Gardner's speed and the way that teams have run wild on the Red Sox this year, you would expect some action here from Gardner. He's got 5 steals on the season. He's been thrown out 5 times, though. So a very poor percentage for Brett Gardner. He's got a healthy lead. Outside ball 1 to Derek Jeter.
Dan, with Salty behind the plate, he's thrown out 6 runners thus far out of 43. And that's not very good. That's as low as there is in the American League. And Gardner's still on first base after 1 pitch. Derek Jeter's probably wondering why.
Adrian Gonzalez, one of the better throwers at first base. So if Gardner decides to go on first move, you'll see Adrian cheat in towards John Lester to intercept the throw early, create an angle for the throw at second base, and try and get Gardner on that first move. So either way, you almost have a better shot at first than they do the ball coming from the catcher.
Yeah, they do, but there's no real reason to go on first move. I think first move's a move for a runner when you can't read whether or not the pitcher is coming to first or going home. Lester's very obvious. When he comes to first, he just lifts up the leg and comes to first. When he goes home, it's quick at times, but it's obvious that he's going home. A little studying of the video will give you that edge.
Cutter inside, 2-1 on Jeter.
And it is funny, or else so many guys do not watch video of pitchers' moves to home and moves to first. They'll watch what they throw all day long. They'll figure out the pattern that they might give them, but they won't take the 10 minutes that it takes to look at a pitcher's move so you're prepared when you get on first base.
They throw behind him. Gonzalez, they got him caught in a rundown. And the tag applied to end the inning. So just as you guys discussed, throw to first. Gonzalez steps in, starts the rundown. Gardner tagged out, and the inning is over. Bronx. Time now for more FaceTime presented by Edward Jones. Buster Olney with the Yankee manager Joe Girardi between innings.
Joe, in the past, John Lester has had good success against you, but tonight, 4 runs. What do you see in your at-bats against him?
Well, I think our guys have been patient. They've waited for their pitch. They've made him work some long counts, especially the first couple innings. We had 50 pitches after the first 2 innings, and guys haven't missed him.
Now, earlier today, Jorge Posada came into your office, apologized to you. What did you say to him?
Well, we had a great conversation, and, you know, I know it's hard to struggle, and we've all been through that. If you played long enough, you're going to struggle, but I still think he can be extremely productive for us. You know, he needed a day to rest his mind yesterday, and then that's fine, and we need him to produce for us.
Joe, thanks. Dan, back to you.
Buster, thank you. One of the interesting things that Joe Girardi talked about before the game, as Adrian Gonzalez leads off the 5th for Boston, Girardi met with the press, was about when he was a player near the end of his career and Jorge Posada was a young catcher making his way up to the Yankees. And he said, you know what, it was hard for me to come to terms with the fact that my skills were diminishing and that I was getting older and that Jorge Posada was a more talented player than I was. And now Posada, Morrill, is at that end of his career, 39 years of age.
And Joe talked about there were days that he got 2 hits and came in the next day and his name was not in the lineup because they were grooming Jorge to take over and be the #1 guy. And he didn't like it at the time, but realized a very talented young man right there now at 39.
And you can see he has been, and Brian Cashman used this phrase today, one of the great Yankees. Posada, a significant part of 4 of the World Series championship teams, a 5-time All-Star, 5 Silver Slugger awards. As Gonzalez hits a ground ball to second, Cano up with it for out number 1. When you talk about offensive contributors as a catcher, this is one of the best there has been. And obviously the phrase here in New York over the years, Bobby, the core 4. Pettit now retired, Jeter, Rivera, and Posada.
He's one of the core 4s without a doubt. What he learned to do is give the signs to the pitcher and win a lot of games for the Yankees, and he's been a great Yankee. Giving the signs is part of communication. There was obviously a communication breakdown yesterday.
Here's Youkilis.
With the lineup going up, the timing of it going up, what was on his mind, what he was feeling. The manager, Joe Girardi, and the great catcher.
Foul ball.
Wow. Jorge Posada were not communicating, and that caused a problem with further communication by Brian Cashman during the game and communication to the press afterwards. Hopefully it's over and it can be forgotten.
A bigger story because he's been on this team for so long, a bigger story because of the accomplishments he's had, and a bigger story because this is New York, and big stories become bigger stories in New York. As you would know, as a former manager of the Mets, there are no small stories in New York, right? There are no molehills, there are only mountains.
And this isn't, I don't think, a story about the guy. This is a story about the action. And the action should be criticized, and I even think the action should be disciplined, because you don't, as a player, rule the roost. You go and you do as needed for the team.
Is it a sign of deeper issues on the ball club?
I think there just might be signs of deeper issues with Posada and his place in life right now, and hopefully it's going to get straightened out.
One of the other issues that has been discussed a little bit is, will there come a time when Jeter is moved down in the lineup, and how will that go? Because as big a name as Posada is, Jeter's a bigger name with bigger numbers in his career.
If this was a prelude, I don't know how you're going to ever move Derek down.
It's very hard. It's a little easier for pitchers to start to lose it because you just become, instead of the ace, you're the 5th guy in the rotation. Or you're in the bullpen and you're the closer, maybe you become the setup man, or the setup man, you get a little bit more a lower role as the long man. But you still are in the game. It's very hard for a regular when you're one of the producing figures in the top 5 in the order.
And the Yankees, as you can see, have a lot of older players. Posada 39, Jeter turning 37 next month, A-Rod 35, Bartolo Colon up in age, Freddie Garcia 34. But if you look at the 4 names we just put up there with Rodriguez and Jeter and Posada, Rivera, the nucleus of this team, they are all 35 and over. Rivera, amazingly enough, still going strong, as good as he ever was, the numbers suggest. Swinging a foul tip, and Youkilis has gone 2 down. Let's hear from some of the participants, some of the main characters in the Posada situation, beginning with Jorge Posada himself.
I just had a bad day, very frustrating season so far, and just, wanted to apologize, especially to Girardi and Cashman, and you had a meeting with Girardi, and
he apologized and said, I had a bad day yesterday. I said, you know what, George? I've had bad days too, and I've done stupid things, and I'm not saying what he did was stupid. Things that I wish that I wouldn't have done, and you have to live with them.
And now everybody says the matter was closed. It's over.
Let's hope it's over, and hopefully it will make things better. But I'll tell you, I managed over 3,000 games in my career. The toughest thing to do is to manage an aging superstar. Luckily, the guy to my right was a pretty good one as he was aging.
He aged gracefully?
To be able to manage him and let him know what I was thinking and understand what he was thinking. And that's what it's all about. Getting on some kind of the same page, pulling at the same end of the rope.
Well, that's the other part of the story. If Posada's hitting 265, he's not hitting 9. He's hitting 165 as a DH. He's not a catcher anymore. He's a DH. Does he still deserve to be in the lineup? How do you weigh, never mind where he hits, does he play if he continues to hit as poorly as he has?
The most telling thing of the whole incident yesterday was him saying, I brought this upon myself.
Ortiz sends a high fly ball toward the right field corner and gone. A single, a double, and now a home run for David Ortiz, and the Red Sox have the lead. What a night for Big Papi.
It's really hard to give up a home run. It's even harder to give up a broken bat home run.
Tough pill to swallow, huh?
Well, you get him out in front, you get him off the end, but you have enough strength to leave Yankee Stadium, especially down the left field line or right field line where it's 314. That bat is shattered.
Just looking at the swing, you sure wouldn't guess that ball went out. Only 314 down the line. Home run number 7 for Ortiz.
It was funny to see the bat boy go up and get the bat at home plate and look at it kind of like when Wonder Boy came back in. There's the busted bat home run.
To a young Red Sox fan with good seats here at Yankee Stadium. Drew strikes out to end the inning, but the home run by David Ortiz has given the Red Sox their first lead of the night. You can log on to Facebook.com/ESPN Baseball tonight to vote on tonight's poll questions. We had 2 questions for you, both involving Joe DiMaggio and Ted Williams, with this being the 70th anniversary of the beginning of Joe DiMaggio's historic 56-game hitting streak back in 1941. Derek Jeter leads off the bottom of the 5th for the Yankees, 5-4 Boston. The 2 questions were, which do you think was the more impressive feat, DiMaggio's hitting streak or Ted Williams hitting 400? And the second question was, which, if any, do you think is more likely to ever be done again? A hitting streak of that length or somebody hitting 400? We talked about Tony Gwynn at 394, George Brett at 390, Rod Carew hit 388. I think Ted Williams also hit 388 later in his career after he hit 400. Those have been the closest guys to that magic mark. Jeter with a grounder to short. And out by a step, 1 down. Looking for the replay on the big video scoreboard as he makes his way back down into the Yankee dugout. Jeter now 0 for 2, has also been hit by a pitch. And that'll bring up Curtis Granderson, who has done it again. Another home run for Granderson. Another home run off a lefty as he took Lester deep back in the 2nd inning. Curveball for a strike. And again, as he told Bobby yesterday here at the ballpark, it's about getting rid of that wasted emotion, getting the hands back where they need to be anyways, instead of starting them up front and then bringing them back. Another curveball, and he lines it down the right field line, foul.
When you talk about efficiency in a swing, what you want to do is see the bat go from the launching position, which is up over his head, to the hitting position in an efficient manner. This was a very efficient swing. He's able to pull balls out over the plate. He's a home run hitter to right field, as Batista is a home run hitter to left field.
Granderson hit 24 home runs last year. His first year with the Yankees, hit a career high 30 home runs 2 years ago in his last year with the Tigers. Again, the 0-2. Tigers, by the way, were rained out today at home against Kansas City. The Giants and Cubs were rained out in Chicago, and Seattle and Cleveland were rained out in Cleveland. So weather all over the place today. The Midwest taking out 3 games. Swing and a miss. The tag applied. Granderson has gone 2 down as we take a look now at our pro tips, brought to you by Cabot Wood Stains.
The out pitch and the pitch to go to for John Lester is the cut fastball. Early in the game, a couple of examples, the cutter was good. It was down and near the edges, and he was making hitters look bad. But the home runs were up and flat, meaning they come in, they cut, but they don't have much depth and go down, and they're left in the middle of the plate. Then he's got back on the horse, and he's gotten the ball back closer to the edges. The ball's got a little depth, but mainly is accurate on the edge of the plate.
The last hit that he gave up was the home run to Granderson back in the 2nd. And as Mark Teixeira steps in, I think it was you, Bobby, who talked about it. Freddie Garcia had 2 leads, gave him back. Lester's locked in. Garcia's a fine line guy at this point of his career. Getting tougher by the inning, it looks like, for the Yankees. Teixeira hooks the ball into left field for a base hit. He's 2 for 3.
What Boston needs right now is to have Lester keep this pitch count down so he can get to the 8th inning. He gets to the 8th inning, they have it set up. Ribard and Papelbon could come in and possibly close this thing out and give them a sweep, just what they need to get to 500.
Yesterday they had to go to Matt Albers, who's done a great job out of their bullpen, a young right-hander, and he threw 31 pitches, so it's probably somebody they want to stay away from today. And you're right, keeping Lester out there as long as possible sets things up.
Here's Alex Rodriguez 0 for 2. A strikeout and a ground out for Rodriguez tonight, now 4 for his last 30. 6 home runs, 22 RBIs on the season for A-Rod.
Same person in his pinstripes, but looks so different than he did the first 3 weeks of the season. His posture is off. His swing is not as aggressive.
You really see with live K-zone how the Saltalamacchia sets up and then where the ball ends up and the action of the pitch right on the corner there. I like to work Alex down and in, have some depth to the pitch.
Very high with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
Changes eye level. You don't want to live in one place. That's what that setup pitch is all about, just to have the hitter have to pick up something out of your hand that is different from where you want to go to get him out.
Short lead by Teixeira. And the 1-2, swing and a miss. Nasty cutter down and in from Lester. Strikeout number 5. Inning over. A Baseball Tonight update on the other side of this break. I agree with you. I think right now, if you just talk about maybe the nastiest rivalry in baseball right now, it might be the Reds and the Cardinals, as Barry Larkin alluded to, in terms of how they dislike each other. Dan Shulman, Bobby Valentine, Oral Hershiser. You go back to 2003, 2004, there's no question. Red Sox, Yankees, hands down, no matter how you look at it. But right now, there's a whole lot of nasty between the Reds and Cardinals. The Reds swept the series, by the way, from the Cardinals this weekend. And Cincinnati has now moved a game and a half up the National League Central. And ever since Johnny Cueto and Homer Bailey came back to round out that rotation, the Reds are looking good.
They're a very good team, and that rivalry starts at the top with Dusty Baker and Tony La Russa. There's no love lost there.
Garcia nearing 100 pitches. This will be his 94th, trailing 5-4 here in the 6th inning. And activity now with the Yankee pen left-hander Boone Logan is up for New York. They have 8 relievers right now. They're carrying 13 pitchers. Logan is the only lefty in the pen. The left-handed hitters are really spaced out all over the lineup for Boston. He just missed it. Skying a fly ball to right field. Swisher the catch. Lowry retired.
Bobby, how does a relationship between two managers disintegrate? How does it ever get started, and how does it disintegrate when you said that La Russa and Dusty just don't get along?
Well,
how does as a player, I really don't.
The managers are just as competitive as the pitchers are. They're just as competitive as the hitters are. And when you lose and when you win, this rivalry begins. And then things are said, and you throw at someone, and someone throws at the other guy. Hey, it builds.
It's on. Freddie Garcia is done for the night. We'll see Boone Logan to come in to face Carl Crawford. 6th inning here in the Bronx. The Red Sox are up 5-4. Baseball presented by Taco Bell is brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. By Cisco. See what our network can do for your human network. And by iShares Exchange Traded Funds. Keep evolving at iShares.com. With Oral Hershiser, Bobby Valentine, Buster Olney, Wendy Nix. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. 5-4 Red Sox over the Yankees. Bottom 6 left-hander Boone Logan making his 15th appearance of the season. Last year, very tough on left-handers, held him to a 190 batting average. This year, lefties are hitting 360 against him. But this is his job, to get lefties out, so he comes in to face a left-handed batter in Carl Crawford. And he'll stick around for a few more lefties as well, you would figure. There are a lot of them in the Boston lineup.
I think Joe Girardi would like to see him go through Adrian Gonzalez, actually, and we'll see if he has that much in his arm.
And if he got that far, that would be 5 batters. Ellsbury's a couple of batters away. If he gets past Gonzalez, David Ortiz is swinging a hot bat tonight. Another dangerous left-handed batter. So all kinds of tough challenges ahead, it seems, for Boone Logan here tonight. Red Sox 5, Yankees 4. 1 out, nobody on. Boston batting in the top of the 6th. Crawford is 0 for 2.
I think Carl Crawford should take a page out of Curtis Granderson's book and try to eliminate some of this nonsense that he has in his stance, that wide open stance, his hands up so high. Just let's get it right.
So close him off, or
make it a little simpler. Absolutely. Get the hands where he could get to the hitting position with less movement, get the foot where he could get it coming down with a little less movement. It's very wide open. His hands are up so high. Unnecessary.
Did you tinker a lot with your stance when you played?
Well, when I played, no, as a matter of fact, but we didn't have video of that either. Right. As a matter of fact, we hardly had coaching.
When did they invent coaching?
Well, I'm not sure, but there wasn't a hitting coach in the minor leagues. Tom Lacerda was the manager, and the pitching coach, and the hitting coach. You had to figure it out. And players helped each other.
That's a good point, though, about not having video. It wasn't as obvious to figure out what's different or what's wrong. There's the 0-2 again, and a breaking ball down and away.
You think of Joe DiMaggio never saw himself hit on a slow motion video. It's hard to believe. 39 of the 56 pitchers that he faced during that streak were starting pitchers. He didn't face relief pitchers in 39 of those games.
Left center and caught. A great effort by Gardner.
Dan, what I really like about this play is very often before the game starts, outfielders will communicate, say, I'll go and dive and you back me up. And it looks like that's exactly what happened here with Gardner coming in to dive for it. Curtis wasn't going to dive with him. He was going to back up, and that lets the outfielder on the diving side be as aggressive as you can possibly be. That's what happened there. Great play, and that's a web job.
Second, a very nice catch by Brett Gardner tonight. He took a base hit away from Jacoby Ellsbury to begin the ball game. Now Jared Saltalamacchia turns around to bat for the right side and takes down and away ball one. Saltalamacchia 1 for 2 tonight. Very little offense from the catching tandem of Saltalamacchia and Varitek so far this year. They don't have a home run between them on the season. Checking that bat to make sure it's all right. The Red Sox feel that Saltalamacchia's at-bats have been getting better lately, and really coming into the season, Oral, his strength was thought to be the hitting, and they would live with the defense, but he hasn't really hit yet.
No, you have to do one or the other. And with performance-enhancing drugs behind us, hopefully, you would think that maybe we'll get to the point where defensive catchers will be back in the game.
Line to third, and caught by A-Rod, inning over. A bullet, but right at Alex Rodriguez. Night baseball presented by Taco Bell. Bottom of the 6th inning of the Bronx. The Red Sox and the Yankees, with Boston winning the first 2 games of the series and leading here 5-4, trying to sweep the series and get to the 500 mark for the first time all season. Boston is 19-20. The Yankees are 20-17. Tampa Bay leads the division at 23-17. So everybody is tightly bunched. Coverage of Major League Baseball continues this week on ESPN. Tomorrow night at 7 Eastern, a couple of big-time sluggers. Ryan Howard and the Phillies are in St. Louis to take on Albert Pujols and the Cardinals. Then Wednesday Night Baseball presented by Sears Lawn and Garden. The Phillies again as they host the Colorado Rockies. Major League Baseball tomorrow night and Wednesday night on ESPN. Both games also available online at ESPN3.com and on your phone. The 0-1 to Robinson Cano. A slow curveball swung on and missed. 0-2. How important is that curveball for John Lester?
I think when you get through the lineup the second and third and fourth time for him, that's the pitch he can go to. If he doesn't have the dominant cutter, or if the location is just not there, instead of getting him out with executing perfect pitches, you can get him out with the mystery of what pitch might come.
Back to the curveball, swing and a miss. Cano is gone. Strikeout number 6 for Lester.
On the 90th pitch, take the last two. Curveball there, down at the bottom of the strike zone, hasn't thrown many, goes right back to it. And the key to that sequence, the first one wasn't as good as the second one. You don't want to throw that second one first and then throw the first one second, because now you bring it closer to the hitter. You give him a chance to hit it. When you throw a good curveball, you have to throw a better one the next time.
90 pitches through 5 1/3. He's given up only 1 hit since the second inning. Here's Nick Swisher 0 for 2. Cutter down and in. Swisher has not been able to get going so far this season. His average is down to .219. He's only got 2 home runs. The Yankees are 3rd in the league in runs scored, even with a lot of guys having what seems to be subpar seasons. They still lead the majors in home runs. They lead the American League in on-base percentage and slugging percentage. They do hit for a lot of power. They do rely on the home run more than any other team so far this year, scoring better than half of their runs on homers. Andrew Jones, who's already homered tonight, waiting on deck. Granderson is also homered tonight for the Yankees. 3-1. And a 1-out walk to Swisher. Well, John Lester with a chance to win this game tonight, and winning is something that John Lester has done just about as well as anybody. He, in his career, 65 and 26 in the history of this sport for pitchers with 50 or more decisions. Only former Yankee Spud Chandler has a better career winning percentage than John Lester. If Lester wins tonight, he will have the best winning percentage in a major league history for anybody with 50 or more decisions. One on, one out for Andrew Jones, who's homered and grounded out. More recently, you look at Lester, and in the last 3+ years, going back to opening day 2008, only Roy Halladay and C.C. Sabathia have more wins than John Lester. I would think anywhere outside New England, you could win a bar bet on that one.
He's a franchise player. He's a start your team, start your rotation type of guy. 27 years old, has proved that he can beat cancer, beat people in the World Series, and be the MVP. He's going to win a Cy Young. He's another great left-hander in the opposing dugout.
Roy Halladay, by the way, took the loss today. The Braves beat the Phillies 3-2. Halladay went the distance, but Atlanta wins 3-2. Venters got the win. Kimbrel the save as Atlanta takes 2 out of 3 from Philadelphia in that series. Dan Uggla driving in the winning run on a home run. Another tight division. The Phillies, the Marlins, and the Braves going at it in the National League East. Again, you can see the Phillies Monday and Wednesday here on ESPN. 3-1 now, the count on Jones. Lester digging himself a hole.
You're not going to see Lester finish this game, but Tito Francona is really hoping he could finish the 7th, get through this inning and one more. If this guy gets on, he'll make a call of the pen just in case, but he is his horse, his #1. He's set up for this game, and he's going to extend them, I think, to 120 pitches or more in this outing.
That's pitch number 100 tonight for Lester. He threw a season high 114 in his last start Tuesday at Toronto.
I'm glad that one's back in his glove, getting ready to throw another pitch right now instead of watching Andre Jones circle around the bases. That's the same exact pitch that he had a home run on off him earlier.
Swisher the lead at first. 1 out, full count. Yankees down a run in the 6th. Not going. Strike 3 called for the 2nd out.
First 11 batters, 4 hits, 4 runs, a walk, a couple home runs. He's settled in. Since then, 1 hit, 2 walks, and now 6 Ks because of that pitch right there. Cutter that just barely made it back. If you think the strike zone is too tight, that was about 2 balls above the waist. That's pretty accurate.
So 2 down in the inning. Strikeout number 7 for Lester. Here's Russell Martin, who has walked both times up. 5 runs on 6 hits for the Red Sox, including home runs tonight for Youkilis and Ortiz. 4 runs on 5 hits for the Yankees, including home runs by Jones and Granderson. Freddie Garcia out of the game, the starting pitcher for the Yankees. John Lester with a lead, over 100 pitches. Just off the corner, ball 2. Garcia goes 5 1/3. He gives up 5 runs. 4 of them earned. The other run unearned because of the pass ball charged to Martin back in the 2nd inning. Big cut by Martin. He fouls it back 2-1.
You know, Dan, there are guys that are good enough to play the game, and then there are guys that know how to win games. Jonathan Lester is one of those guys who knows how to win games. When you're 39 games over 500 in your young career, you got a chance to set a record tonight with a win. You're not just good enough to be a big leaguer. You're good enough to win, and you know the moments. And this is one of those moments to get through this inning. Been battling all night. Early, didn't get on the horse and really take control of the game. Your team has brought you back, and it's time not to squander a lead and put a W up for the Red Sox.
Boston winning 5-4 Friday night. Beckett and company shutting out the Yankees 6-0 last night. Curveball low, 3 balls and a strike. Former Yankee Alfredo Aceves is up in the Red Sox pen.
You're right on, Bobby. Just in case.
Just in case. That means the game's going to be tied, or they'll be behind before Aceves comes into this inning, I believe.
Low ball 4, and Martin walks for the 3rd time tonight. Out to the mound goes Saltalamacchia. And pitching coach Curt Young is on his way out as well. Oral, would you go out there as a pitching coach and tell the pitcher, listen, this inning is it for you, one way or the other, give it all you got? Is that something you hear on the mound?
It's time to empty the tank, and if we get through this inning, we'll talk about the rest later. But you really want to empty the tank right here. This is, you know, the moments when you're a big league pitcher. You know the moments when you're a winner, and this is one of those moments for him.
Absolutely, and he knows what he has to do. He has a left-handed hitter up there. He's got a 1-run lead. He's going to throw strikes. Be aggressive. He hasn't been aggressive in the last 3 hitters.
By the way, that backdrop's pretty cool.
Very
Isn't that pretty cool? This is new. We got a new toy, and that's pretty cool. We have to have it back by midnight. Here's Gardner, 2 on, 2 out, 5-4 Red Sox, bottom of the 6th, and a curveball in the dirt for ball 1. Gardner is 0 for 2, but he's a hot hitter coming into the game tonight.
And that wasn't a very aggressive pitch. The first pitch to his left-handed 9th place hitter, a breaking ball in the dirt.
Swisher at second and Martin at first, both with decent speed. The 1-0 to Gardner, checks the swing and he takes it low, ball 2.
Bobby, you're so right. Tentative does not work right here. John Lester needs to be aggressive. Strength against strength. Make a pitch.
And he gets a pop-up. And the Yankees leave 2 men on in the bottom of the 6th inning. So Lester walks off the field with a lead at the end of 6.
Can I get a hug, man?
This week at the MLB Fan Cave in New York City, Red Sox DH David Ortiz stopped by for a visit and enjoyed himself, and ran into, among others, Ozzie Smith hanging out at the Fan Cave. You can follow what's going on at the Fan Cave at MLBFanCave.com. Top of the 7th here at Yankee Stadium. Final game of this 3-game series. The Red Sox are looking for a sweep here in the Bronx. They're clinging to a 5-4 lead as Joe Girardi goes to his bullpen again and brings in right-hander David Robertson for his 18th appearance of the season, and some very solid numbers for Robertson. With the exception of the walks, they're a little bit high. 10 walks and 14 1/3, but tough to hit. Good ERA. Top of the order for the Red Sox: Ellsbury, Pedroia, Gonzalez. Ellsbury's flied out, doubled and scored, and been hit by a pitch. It's a screamer over the third base dugout.
It's a little better fastball than he's seen in his previous at-bats tonight.
does look like a million.
Just going from 86 to 93. That's it
looks
whole
like
different ball game, huh? Yeah.
In bad adjustments. Got to start it sooner.
92 miles an hour. Getting a little cutting action on that fastball again from Robertson, and he's out in front 0-2.
And folks, when we say about an in-bat adjustment, usually it's just timing. You're not changing your swing at all. You're just changing the timing of when you start.
Again, fastball. That time he wanted it up, got it up. Cutting action again in on the hands. This does not look like a fun at bat for Jacoby Ellsbury. Well, even though that the Yankees and Robertson, the game plan here, Orel, is here to pound him in with fastballs. It looks like out in center field, Curtis Granderson is way over to left center field. There's a huge gap right now in right center.
Yeah, he just moved over there with 2 strikes too. You saw him take about 5 steps out there. So there's definitely a 2-strike spray chart that has him taking the ball to left field.
Got him. Well, the location wasn't where Martin wanted it, but it was still in the strike zone.
Let's go fastball up and in. Let's throw it right down the middle and have him take it. Sounds like a strategy. Fastball up and in. Live K zone shows the target. And then we go down. Tried to get it up there. And just a little timing issue as a pitcher. Released it a little late, which brought it down in the strike zone instead of a little earlier in the delivery.
Here's Pedroia now 0 for 3.
Sora, when he throws that high fastball, is he still throwing downhill?
I don't think he's ever throwing downhill other than the fact that he's throwing down the pitching mound hill. But I know you were trying to cause an argument right there. I'm not going to take the bait.
Take the bait.
John Kruk sitting at home watching this one, recovering from a little stomach ailment, and he would love to have you explain the downhill movement.
I don't want to explain it right now. I want to concentrate on
John, get better, buddy.
Exactly.
Come on back to baseball tonight.
No balls, 2 strikes to count on Pedroia. 5-4 Red Sox, top of the 7th. And a breaking ball bounces away. The first pitch other than a fastball. It looks like a cut fastball that Robertson has thrown. That one more of a slider at 82 miles an hour.
There's a 4-seamer, and sometimes he cuts it a little bit. Also got that slider, changeup. He's got a 2-seamer too. That's a cutter for a strike that got called a ball. It was a good one. Blood pressure rising right there.
Joe said be consistent one time. That ball's going to strike most of the night. Call the ball here.
I apologize, Mike. A lot of apologies around here.
Down low 3-2, but you made the point, Bobby. That pitch has been a strike most of the night. Yeah. The right-handed batter on the or off the outside corner. That pitch has been called within 2-3 inches of the corner. That's been called a strike. The count now full. Martin slides away again, and that one does miss outside for ball 4. And Martin turns around and addresses Mike Everett, the home plate umpire, here for a few seconds. Sometimes you'll do it a little bit more discreetly, but Martin turned right around 180 degrees, and it didn't appear to be adversarial, but was pretty much mask to mask with Mike Everett.
Joe's saying exactly what Russell Martin was saying. They want that pitch. It was a discussion from the first inning with Teixeira at the plate.
Runner going. Throw down, and Pedroia steals second. Pitch called a strike.
Pedroia had a great jump as soon as Robertson started that front heel off the ground. He was off and running. There was no question about the play at second base. Russell had no chance. He's off and going. Russell Martin comes up. He's already halfway there. A good throw. Still has no chance. And Derek knew it. Came up in front of the bag. No play.
And Jeter, a quick meeting on the mound with the Robertson. 5-4 lead for the Red Sox. Pedroia out at second base with the one out. Giving Jeter what for as he goes by. Pedroia, one of the more talkative players in the majors. And now they're going to put Adrian Gonzalez on. So this gets back to the age-old, would you rather have a runner at first and your best hitter who is red hot at the plate, or would you rather have him steal second, take the bat out of Gonzalez's hands, but you've got runners at first and second for Youkilis?
I'd rather have this situation created. Gonzalez has another chance to come up in the ninth inning as they put him on. This just keeps the ball rolling, and you have a guy who just hit a home run his last at bat, coming up with men on first and second.
So the intentional walk, Gonzalez aboard, Youkilis coming up. The Red Sox are 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position tonight, but the one was Youkilis, the 3-run homer.
That was 2 at-bats ago, but he had great transfer on that swing and drove the ball 400 feet to left field. He's feeling good right now. We'll see what happens as the infield plays him to pull on the right side once again.
Strike taken.
When we talk about great weight transfer, Earl, you see him get on that front side and get all off of his back foot as he's making contact. His back foot's off the ground by 2.5 or 3 inches. That's how you hit it 400 feet.
Good curveball. Well, we'd like to welcome those of you who may have been watching the NBA game. We understand the Chicago Bulls defeated the Miami Heat in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. We're here at Yankee Stadium. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. Dan Shulman to Bobby Valentine, Oral Hershiser, Buster Olney, and Wendy Nix. A 5-4 lead for the Red Sox in the 7th as they look to sweep the series here in the Bronx. And they are threatening. The 0-2 is just low. Youkilis has a big hit tonight, a 3-run homer. David Ortiz has single-doubled and homered for the Red Sox. Curtis Granderson and Andrew Jones have homered for the Yankees. Breaking ball bounced foul. A win tonight for the Red Sox would get them to the 500 mark, a mark they have not reached at any point this season. Lost their opener, went on to a dismal 2-10 start, but have gone 17-10 since to get within a game of the 500 mark. Yankees are 3 games over at 20-17. The 1-2. And Youkilis gets a piece. Slow roller to third through the legs of Alex Rodriguez. Pedroia in to score on the air, and the Red Sox are up 6-4.
Well, this is one of those situations where all a slow hit ball and a big guy like Alex Rodriguez who comes over and goes down with both hands, gets off balance by going down with both hands, and this ball goes through his legs. He was trying to be very cautious and be right, but as he goes down, you see that both hands, and he's a little off balance there. That's a one-handed play. Catch the ball, go to the bag, and get one. It did remind many of Billy Buckner's play, my great friend and roommate from college. That the Red Sox were not the benefactors of 1986 Game 6.
just leaning a little bit too much, starting toward third before he had the ball? Was that the problem?
Yeah, well, and he was off balance because he's there. He's thinking about going to the bag, and when you're putting that other hand down there, just do it when you're in your living room, folks. You're off balance with both hands in front of you, and he was.
So 6-4 Red Sox. David Ortiz looks at a strike. A big night for Big Papi. Singled, doubled, and homered. And I am contractually obligated as a play-by-play man to say he is a triple away from the cycle. But let me tell you this.
He's done it before.
He has done it before. He has 16 triples in his big league career, including one this year. Curveball for a strike, 0-2.
Don't hold your breath.
Last Boston Red Sox hitter to hit for the cycle, John Valentin, back in 1996. Swing and a miss. Robertson takes care of Ortiz for the second out. That error by Alex Rodriguez, by the way, if you go back to the play before, is the 26th error committed by the Yankees so far this year. That's one of the highest totals in the major leagues. And we were talking about their defense earlier today, Bobby, and I know you look around the field and you think there's a lot more to dislike about their defense than to like, right?
Well, I think the players could play defense. I just don't think their heads have been in the defensive part of the game.
J.D. Drew, strike one.
Again, as you see him coming here, Coral, he's anticipating going there, but both hands, he's almost falling down as he's making that, trying to make that play.
Well, the moment he decided to go with two hands, you have to spread your feet wider to get your hands down on the ground, and he knew he had to keep his momentum.
Now the runners will advance on the wild pitch.
So how are you going to go two-handed, keep your momentum to catch the ball and tag the bag? And he was in between. If you can get in between on defense, he was definitely in between.
So tonight, an error, a wild pitch, a pass ball. 13 errors in the last 10 games committed by the Yankees. They had to play Friday night, wasn't scored an error, but a Robinson Cano had a chance to turn a double play, it looked like, and didn't throw the ball to first base as he was coming across second. A couple of batters later, Kevin Youkilis hit a big home run. The Yankees have just been very sloppy and careless defensively. Drew can't check it. 1-2. The Yankees led 1-0. They led 4-1. The Red Sox now lead 6-4. We're in the seventh. How do you take that pitch?
He had a good eye. And probably can't hit it, so might as well take it.
Red Sox don't have a hit in this inning. 2 walks, one of them intentional. A stolen base, an error, a wild pitch. And Boston has added a run to make it 6-4. Adriano Gonzalez is the runner at third. Kevin Youkilis is out at second.
And what a big add-on run with John Lester leaving this game to give that cushion to the bullpen coming in the seventh inning.
And these two that are out on the pond right now would be huge. This is the Yankees ball game, really, saving these two.
On the appeal, he did not go, says Mike Winters. And a full count now on Drew. Girardi got tossed out last night by Mike Winters. Robertson has thrown 30 pitches this inning.
That was the 2-2 breaking ball. Does that mean he narrowed himself down to a fastball here, or you want to come back with that 3-2 breaking ball up?
J.D. Drew's the one you want to get out. You get almost a 100-point increase in batting average in the hole.
misses with a breaking ball, and the bases are loaded. And Mike Everett appears to be hearing it right now from the Yankees dugout as he has turned in that direction. Been a grumpy bunch this half inning.
And the interesting thing, the rule was changed a couple years ago that the coaches can't yell at the umpire from the dugout on balls and strikes. Only the manager can. So he narrows down whoever's yelling, and he knows it's the manager and could always heave him.
There's Jed Lowry with a chance to do some big damage. A strike. Lowry tonight a sac fly and a couple of flyouts. Hitting .319 on the season. Activity in the Yankee pen. Right-hander Hector Noesi is up. Down the left field line, dropping foul. Oral, how big is this game? It's 1 out of 162, but it's the Red Sox, Yankees, Boston looking for a sweep.
I think it's huge. The Yankees are lost 8 out of their last 11, and for the Red Sox, they are going to get back to 500 if they win tonight. And you think of the euphoric feeling they had assembling their roster, thinking about World Series dreams, off to a 2-10 start, and now back to 500. That same feeling comes back, a fresh start.
Lowry checks it. Bases loaded for Boston. Gonzalez, Youkilis, and Drew.
And not a hit yet.
Now the inning is over. Robertson picks up 3 strikeouts in the inning, but he gives up a run without the Red Sox getting a hit. Yankees with some work to do. Top of the order coming up. got a little bit of everything going on tonight here at Yankee Stadium. We'll look at our game track brought to you by USAA. 6-4 Boston to go on the bottom 7 after they trailed early 4-1. The Yankees have gone cold since the first couple of innings. David Ortiz has singled, doubled, and homered. Youkilis with a big 3-run homer. The Red Sox looking for the sweep of the Yankees here in the Bronx and perhaps their first visit to the 500 mark this season. And in to try to protect the lead is Alfredo Aceves as Derek Jeter leads off the bottom of the 7th for New York. Top of the order, Jeter, Granderson, and Teixeira. Aceves, a former Yankee, comes in his second stint with the Boston this year. And a swing and a ground ball hit out to Pedroia. 1 pitch and 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Aceves, as we mentioned, a former member of the Yankees last couple of years, and in 2 stints with the Red Sox has put up some pretty good numbers this year with the Reds with Boston. Both bullpens are busy at the moment. Aceves 2 years ago in relief went 10-1 as a Yankee. Which for the Yankees again last year had a lot of injuries as well and wound up signing with the Red Sox. As he busts Granderson inside, ball 1. Left-hander Rich Hill is up in the Boston pen. Daniel Bard is also there he is tying his shoelaces there. A hard-throwing right-hander Bard.
As hard as he throws, he needs to tie those shoes tight. Strap it on.
Yeah. 98 to 100.
Yeah, he should bring it.
It's going to be a great at-bat, him against Posada, to try to tie up the game next inning.
Posada hitting for Andrew Jones. There for a strike, 2-2.
Got to get these fans on their feet somehow. They've been very dull so far this evening.
Bobby stepping right out there, calling the New York fans dull. Whoa.
They had a
That'll be in the post tomorrow.
I felt like I was at a funeral.
That's true.
It's different in this ballpark, don't you think?
It's definitely different.
It is a little
From
different.
the old one.
Just doesn't
Chamberlain.
rock.
They're on their Blackberries.
Buster, they're communicating with Buster. Yeah. They just want to know what Buster thinks.
A lot of padded seats here.
What a breaking ball that Granderson takes, and it just misses. The count now full. Taking a picture of his souvenir. Ball 4. Now, speaking of Buster Olney, let's see what the hardest working man in baseball is doing down on the field. Buster, what's coming up?
Hey, Dan, the headlines for the week ahead. First off, we've officially entered that period where there's a lot of questions about whether the Los Angeles Dodgers will be able to make their payroll. If they can't, you could see Major League Baseball step in and take over even more control of that team. Interleague play starts next week. We'll be in Boston for Cubs versus Red Sox. And the big question is, when will Jorge Posada get back in the lineup? Earlier tonight, we heard the bleacher creature chanting for him, Dan.
All right, Buster, thank you. Here's Mark Teixeira. First pitch swinging, pops it up. Foul territory, third base side, and just back out of play. Well, presumably, Posada may get back in there the next time that the Yankees face a righty, and that is Tuesday at Tampa Bay. They face James Shields, who's having a great season, so maybe Posada's back in as the DH that night. But I want to ask you two guys, both of you spent years in the Dodger organization. Can you believe that the Los Angeles Dodgers may have trouble making payroll?
It's really hard to believe. As glorious and as deep as that franchise runs in baseball history, and all the people that have attended games there, they were always the team as far as attendance. 35,000 were there Friday, 30,000 were there yesterday. They're drawing right now. The cash flow's got to be dry.
I think it's a ploy just to get the money from Fox, prove that he needs the money, make the deal that McCourt wants to make, and keep the team.
Doesn't sound like the commissioner's in any rush, though, to give him the TV money.
No, not at all.
He doesn't want to okay that loan. And that's a loan that would be for the television rights for the Dodgers for a lot of years to come, worth a lot of money. It would give him the liquidity to meet payroll and move on in the present tense.
Again, a pop-up third base side. Youkilis over, and this time has room just shy of the tarp to make the catch for the second out.
Well, when we mentioned with A-Rod coming up that his balance is the same as it was early in the year, and it has something to do with his leg kick, you could see on April 8th when he took that leg kick up, it had an angle that went up over his back shoulder. Now when he takes it up, it's coming up at an angle that goes over his ear. That makes him look like he's falling all the time. You see the one on the left where it looks like he's in a strong position, ready to stride and fire. Here it just looks like he's lifting and going, and when you do that, you go the wrong way a little too quickly very often. Trying to be quicker to the ball is what I think he's doing, which is exactly the wrong thing to do.
Could it be a little compensation from the oblique injury because he doesn't think he can take the torque of that kind of leg kick?
You know, it could be.
The separation between the hips and the shoulders puts the pressure on the rib cage and the abs in there, the obliques, and since the oblique pull, maybe he doesn't feel like he can separate those hips and shoulders, so he has a different style leg kick.
Takes some more time off.
Which hurts. Yeah, exactly. But to me, you know, not only out of balance, but a more upper body swing. You know,
that's what it would do. Yeah, take that torque away, would be more upper body. Yeah, if he's worried about the feel that he gets when he does it correctly.
And one of the things about an injury is that it can be healed, but you have to heal the subconscious too to say I can start using it again.
Exactly.
Fair ball. Granderson on his way to third, and now as Crawford fumbles with it in the outfield, Granderson, who had originally been held, will be sent home to make it 6-5. A double, an error on Crawford, no RBI. And here comes Terry Francona. He has made the call to the bullpen already with Robinson Cano coming up. Daniel Bard is going to come into the game. The Red Sox lead is down to 1.
Had the sex appeal of shortstop or center field. Not with these two teams, but with this pair. Second base takes center stage. The physical embodiments of their teams, of this rivalry. Ease, flair, grace, Yankee. Effort, fight, grit. Red Sox. 2 winners. 2 baggers.
2 of the very best at their position. Second base, Dustin Pedroia and Robinson Cano. Pedroia's Red Sox have a 6-5 lead. An error by Carl Crawford just allowed Curtis Granderson to score. The double by Alex Rodriguez, and here is Cano. The go-ahead run. The fans are back into it now here in the Bronx. The tying run at second, the go-ahead run at the plate with 2 down in the bottom of the 7th. Daniel Bard is on to pitch for Boston. Cano tonight 1 for 3. And has not had any success in his career against Bard.
Well, that's the only reason he's pitching to him, but I think all 4 pitches will be out of the strike zone. We'll see if Robinson gets to swing at one of them to keep the count going. But he should not get a strike to hit with Swisher on deck.
Laid on the fastball. You can't blame him. It was 98. 20th appearance of the season already for Daniel Bard, a guy who gets a lot of really tough spots, gets thrown into a lot of jams, and has not allowed an inherited runner to score yet this season. A-Rod staying loose out at second. 6-5 Boston. Low ball 2.
Crowd's getting into it a little now. I wonder if they get into it a little more as the bases loaded 2 outs and that pinch hit we were talking about happens.
Bard last year had an ERA under 2, better than a strikeout per inning. Finally, time requested by Cano and granted by Mike Everett. Two terrific talents, Robinson Cano and Daniel Bard. The 2-1. And in and out of the glove of Saltalamacchia. The pitch just outside for ball 3.
Looked like a strike. Hit him right in the middle of the glove. Now they'll walk him.
This is the ejector glove. He's trying to frame it, trying to catch it on the thumb there, right close to the corner.
And Bobby putting the go-ahead run on base.
Yeah, that's a pretty tough batter, though, to have to pitch when you're behind 3-1 in the count. Yeah, Swisher has been terrible with men in scoring position this year, and you have right-hander Andrew Jones on deck, who looked so bad against right-handers last night. I think it's a good move by Terry Francona.
Swisher batting from the left side of the plate this year is hitting just .168 and is 0 for this year with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. 0 for 16. A-Rod the tying run at second, Cano the go-ahead run at first. Bard wants to talk it over with Saltalamacchia.
See, this is the part of the game where the catcher is very important. That if Jason Varitek was back there, the staff would be getting guided. Now with Saltalamacchia back there, they're comboing the thought process to find the right pitch. There was no doubt what pitch should be called when Jason Varitek was behind the plate. This is where Salty, it's part of his development.
Strike 1.
And you build that confidence that a pitcher will have in you if you're a catcher by getting him out of a jam like this. Putting down the right fingers after the intentional walk to get the team in the dugout.
He's had some success against Bard. The Yankees led 1-0 and 4-1. The Red Sox came back to tie it. Took a 5-4 lead, then 6-4 top half of this inning. The Yankees have scored one to make it 6-5 here in the bottom half of the seventh, trying to avoid a sweep right here in their own ballpark. 1-2. Only 12 hits in the game. Each team has 6 hits. Each team has committed an error in this inning. Here in the 7th inning, that has led to each team scoring a run in the 7th inning.
Early in the game, it was a hit by pitch and a pass ball that set rallies for both teams. And now errors. In between, we've had a few hits.
The 1-2. Curveball and a big swing and a foul off by Swisher. And Boston continues to lead. Terry Francona may ask Bard not only to finish up this inning but to work the 8th inning and turn it over to Papelbon for the 9th.
Oh, he has to pitch the 8th.
It's only May, but it is Red Sox and Yankees. It's a big game. Boston looking for a sweep and a trip to the 500 mark, and now time is called again.
Score stays like this, you might see Papelbon for a 4-out save.
Alex is deep on his leadoff. He's trying to steal signs from behind the plate. He's not going to allow Lowry in behind him.
Got him. Bard strikes out Swisher. The Yankees do get one unearned run, but leave a couple of men on, and we're at the end of 7 here at Yankee Stadium. The Red Sox still have the lead. We had a threat of rain. A beautiful shot of the Statue of Liberty here as we welcome you back to New York City in the historic Frieze, the upper level of both Old Yankee Stadium, recreated here at New Yankee Stadium, just across the street from where the old place is. It was up in the Bronx. Dan Shulman, Bobby Valentine, Oral Hershiser, Buster Olney, Wendy Nix, and Jabba Chamberlain. As we go to the top of the 8th inning, 19th appearance of the season for Chamberlain. He comes in with the Yankees down a run. Great strikeout to walk ratio, 16 strikeouts, 3 walks in 18 innings. He will face Carl Crawford. It was Crawford's error that allowed the Yankee run to score in the bottom of the 7th. It was Alex Rodriguez's error that allowed the Red Sox to score a run in the top of the 7th. And Crawford hits it right to Rodriguez, who makes the play, 1 down. For those of you tuning in for SportsCenter here on ESPN, it's on ESPN2 right now. We're in the 8th inning of our game here, Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. Red Sox and Yankees, 6-5 Boston, here in the Bronx. Jared Saltalamacchia 1 for 3. Good velocity there from Chamberlain, Oral, 95 miles an hour.
Life in his arm has definitely come back. Different off-season program for Jabba.
Is that the same program as Linscomb? 3 double cheeseburgers and 2 milkshakes?
No, but
no?
It was a lot less weightlifting and a lot more throwing, and he threw earlier in the year coming into spring training. And he really feels like flexibility is back, that he's got his fastball back, which of course when you get the arm speed back, it makes the breaking stuff sharper.
.96 as he misses outside. A week from tonight, we'll be at Fenway Park as the Red Sox host the Chicago Cubs. Two of baseball's most historic franchises. The Cubs, the last time they were at Fenway Park, the 1918 World Series, 93 years ago. In June, by the way, we're also going to be at Wrigley Field when the Yankees are in Chicago.
Did you enjoy that game, Bobby, in 1918?
I wasn't there, but I do have the World Series program.
That's right.
And it's
do you
beautiful.
really?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
Saltalamacchia lifts a high fly ball deep toward the right field corner and gone. The first home run hit by a Boston catcher this year. 7-5 Red Sox.
Sounded like he got all of it, but he got enough. I think it hits the top of the wall going out.
Going to be a load off his mind. His first home run of the season. 7-5 Boston now. Telling Adrian Gonzalez how it's done.
Maybe he's been working with Adrian. He's giving him a thank you.
Third home run of the game for the Red Sox. And the 5th in the game overall. 3rd given up by Chamberlain this year. The 1-1 to Jacoby Ellsbury. A breaking ball for a strike. Well, it has been a struggle, to say the least, for Jabba Chamberlain against the Yankees' arch rivals, the Boston Red Sox, so far this season. Saltalamacchia adding to Chamberlain's misery. Chopper to second. Big bounce for Cano. 2 down.
Two and two. Little slider that stays up. Saltalamacchia stays on. A little out in front. Just thought he might have broken his bat like David Ortiz. Off the top of the wall. Reaction from Jabba. Not good.
Big swing and a miss by Dustin Pedroia. Pedroia 0 for 3 with a walk tonight. And look at these numbers against Chamberlain. No wonder he swung that hard. He figures he's got a pretty good chance of hitting it. 11 for 20 lifetime out in front of the breaking ball, and the count is 0-2.
And we were talking with Terry Francona before the game. He says, you ever worry about this guy? Because this guy's top of the order guy, MVP, struggling right now. He said, we never worry about Petey. The effort, the intensity. We said, well, was he bothered by offers? He goes, oh, yeah. He's bothered by him. But we don't worry about him because he's going to put the work in and he's going to hit.
Hitting 248 right now. Francona said, you'll blink, it'll be 280. You'll blink again, it'll be 300. He's not worried at all.
And you can't beat him to the ballpark.
Yep.
He's the first one here every day.
Proverbial gym rat.
Gets him to end the inning. But the Red Sox add a run. Jared Saltalamacchia with a home run off Jabba Chamberlain. 7-5 Boston. A standing ovation for Jorge Posadas. He comes up to pinch hit for Andrew Jones a night after asking out of the lineup because he was hurt that he was batting ninth in the order. He apologized. Yankee fans have forgiven. 16 years buys you a little bit of goodwill. All is well. The apology has been accepted. Everybody's moving forward. Now, can he handle 98-mile-an-hour heat from Daniel Bard?
He hasn't in the past. He's 0 for 6 with 3 strikeouts, but this might be a special moment.
His adrenaline's got to be going a little bit more than normal. Down and in ball 2. He was emotional before the game, addressing the media when he apologized to his manager, Joe Girardi. He says if he could do it over again, he would do it a lot differently. He wants yesterday back. Can't get yesterday back, but can do some damage right here, right now, with the Yankees down by 2. Outside, 3 balls and a strike. 99, letter high, 3-2. Posada hitting just 165 on the season. And he draws the walk.
You know, Dan, when you get to be 39 and you're in a slump, sometimes you forget what kind of intensity and concentration it takes to be successful. And in a bat like that and a reception from the Yankee fans could be the thing that reminds him what this game is about. To him, the passion and the intensity it's going to take. Even though he walked, there was a feeling at the plate that probably could have returned him to his past, and it might help his future.
That walk brings the tying run to the plate here in the bottom of the 8th inning. It's Russell Martin. Martin has walked all 3 times that he's been up tonight. And as Bard misses low, there is activity in the Boston bullpen. You talked about the possibility of Jonathan Papelbon being asked to get more than 3 outs. He's up right now. And he's been up for a while. Breaking ball, ball 2. Maybe buying some time. How many outs can you ask of your closer in a game in a mid-May? Now, the game has changed. 30 years ago, you're sending Raleigh Fingers and Rich Gossage out there for 9 outs maybe. But 2011, Bobby, how many outs can you ask from your closer in May?
I think he can get 5 outs. I think if it's Granderson and you still have a 1-run lead, I think he's in the game. But Bard's going to be looked on to get 3 outs here if possible.
Big swing and a miss, 2-1. Yankee fans who have seen their team lose Friday night and last night to the Boston Red Sox. The Yankees have lost 4 in a row. That's a season high. They've lost 8 of their last 11. And they have blown a couple of leads here tonight. Now trying to play catch up. High in the air, but not deep to right field. Drew ambling over, makes the catch for out number 1. Frustrated Martin back to the dugout. Here's Brett Gardner, 0 for 3. Each of the last 3 years, these two teams have played each other to a standstill. 9-9 in the season series. The Red Sox are up 4-1 so far in the early going this year. And again, every game appears to be even more meaningful than normal because the American League East is so tightly bunched.
You know, Dan, how would you go to your closer for more than 3 outs? Well, this is the end of a journey in an early season for the Red Sox to get to 500. And there's something about grabbing the possibility of getting your team over the hump that Terry Francona, I'm sure, is weighing.
Bard falls behind another hitter, 2-0.
Carry that as a pitcher too on the mound. Jonathan Papelbon might carry it here in this inning or the 9th. Bard is carrying it right now. They talk about it in the lunchroom. They talk about it in the locker room. They talk about it after the game when they're changing to get on the team bus. Let's get back to 500. They have the chance here. When it's a community effort and a community goal, you feel it. You feel like it's more responsibility at that moment. And that's when we talked about guys that can play here and guys that can win here. Can you carry that for your team? Can you carry it for a city? Can you get them back to 500 and get on the journey that they thought they were going to be on starting in spring training when they assembled this roster?
Ball 3. Gardner, the number 9 hitter. Waiting on deck, Derek Jeter.
Gardner popped up with men in scoring position last at bat on a 2-0 count. Now he has a take on 2-0, and he's going to take again here on 3-1.
Full count.
Posada's not going to stay in the game, and they're not pinch running for him. That's mainly because their bench is so thin. Yep. He's not the tying run, and they're going to save the rest of their bench for the rest of this game.
All they've got is Cervelli, another catcher, and middle infielder Eduardo Nunez. The Yankees right now carrying 13 pitchers, so that means they've only got 3 bench players on any given night, Posada being one of them here tonight. Posada, if you missed it, he got a standing ovation when he came out to pinch hit for Andrew Jones to begin the 8th inning, drew the walk. Martin has since flied out. Now Gardner battling Bard. Again the 3-2, and Gardner fights it off. You see Bard has already thrown 27 pitches. He came on, faced Cano, intentionally walked him, eventually started the bat going after him, then eventually intentionally walked him and struck out Swisher. Now he's walked Posada, got Martin to fly out, so Bard's thrown a lot of pitches here. Here comes the 8th pitch of this at bat, and there will be a 9th.
Now, Earl, do we count the ball 4 on the intentional pitch as a pitch thrown during this game, or we just take that off?
It's count as a pitch.
I know we do. But not a real forceful pitch. You know what I mean?
So he's thrown 27 and a half pitches. Again the 3-2, and it's popped way up in the air back at second base. Lowry, the shortstop, is there to make the catch for the second out. So Gardner is 0 for 4. Does not hit the ball hard all night. Here comes Jeter, hit by a pitch, and 0 for 3. All 3 of the Jeter outs have been ground outs.
Terry Francona has a deep breath right now, thinking that Jeter's not going to tie the game. He will be able to get his closer into this game, even if it's men on second and third or 1 run in. Chances of Jeter hitting 1 out in this situation are slim at this time in his career.
Jeter's only got 5 extra base hits on the season, 3 doubles and 2 homers. Both home runs coming a week ago against Texas. And nobody in baseball has hit the ball on the ground more often this year than Jeter. And as you can see, he has never had a base hit against Bard. Posada, the runner at first, 2 down. Jeter representing the tying run with 2 down here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Boston up 7-5. And a ground ball. And the inning is over. Bard gets it done. 8 complete in the Bronx. Red Sox 7, Yankees 5. presented by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. And in part by Firestone, the official tire of Major League Baseball. And by the Hyundai Assurance Trade-in Value Guarantee. See your Hyundai dealer for details. Ninth inning here at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. The Red Sox lead the Yankees 7-5, looking for the sweep here in New York. And because he hasn't pitched since Wednesday, Mariano Rivera comes out to get a little work in with the Yankees trailing. And it has been another typical Rivera year thus far. An ERA of about 1.5. Opponent's batting average under 200. Phenomenal strikeout to walk ratio. How about this battle right here? Mariano Rivera and Adrian Gonzalez. And a strike right over the outside corner.
I really like the way Adrian did that. He wanted to see what that cutter looked like. I think he's one of the best hitters in the game of baseball. One of the best athletes playing baseball, too. Can't run very well, but he does everything else extremely well.
He's only faced Rivera once in his career, was retired. Strike two.
Watch Russell Martin's glove and compare it to live K zone. Watch how Mariano Rivera is just hitting the target. The first two pitches are within the circumference of the glove.
How does he do that?
It's awesome. Command. Look at that.
Maybe an inch and a half further outside than the last pitch, and with an 0-2 count, somehow Gonzalez takes it. So he's gone away, away, away with the cutter so far.
You think it's about velocity, you think about its extreme movement, just watch this guy pitch.
It's pretty good for a 41-year-old.
Yeah. I know there's no black on the plate, Bobby, but let's just call it edge, 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 edge.
Spectacular.
4 pitches, 4 right at the glove, right there. What's there to analyze?
Ridiculous.
That's beautiful. It really is.
And that's why he's so successful. He used to throw mid-90s and above. He used to have the most exceptional cutter that broke bats every time he threw it. Now he just continues to hit the glove.
Well, and when a left-handed batter is up there like Adrian Gonzalez, what do you think is going to happen? In with the cutter, and he throws 4 of them right over the outside corner. The last thing that Adrian Gonzalez is probably looking for.
I think the scoreboard was that at-bat, Earl.
Exactly.
Mariano knows he's going to have to face him when his at-bat's going to mean the game. He's not going to show him that cutter in today.
He's foul by down the road.
You bet.
He's playing chess. They're both chess players, and he's not bringing the queen out yet. We're just going to show you the pawns and the rooks and the bishops, and we're going to save the queen for when it's 7-5 Yankees instead of 7-5 Red Sox.
Up the middle, a base hit for Youkilis. Is that a big night, including a 3-run homer back in the 3rd inning? So a 1-out base hit given up by Rivera will bring up David Ortiz.
So we mentioned the importance of this game to both teams. This is Rivera pitching. They're 2 runs down. It's the 9th inning. Tomorrow is not an off day. Now, he hasn't pitched in 3 days, and you say maybe you want to get him a little work. But they might need him for 3 games in a row in save situations.
Fouled back by Ortiz, a ball and a strike.
Mariano is about 10 pitches right now. I think they'll try and keep him under 20, 21.
Oh, without a doubt.
Get his work, but keep him available for tomorrow and the next day.
just outside. 2 balls and a strike. Maybe relating to what you were saying, Bobby, there is activity in the pen. If this inning goes too long, they don't want to get Rivera too much work. So right-hander Hector Noesi is up again in the pen. It's a busy stretch, really, for both teams. The Yankees are in a stretch of 31 games in 32 days. Tough for an older team. They're going to Tampa Bay to start a 2-game series tomorrow, then Baltimore. A lot of 2-game series this week. Interleague play, they'll host the Mets next weekend. Then the Blue Jays come to town, and then the Yankees head out west. The Yankees also have played more home games than any team in baseball except the Royals. Ortiz skies one. And in foul territory, Teixeira makes the catch. So you've got an older team that's had some rainouts. They've got some games to make up. They got a lot of road games. They're going out west. The next few weeks, Bobby, going to be a big challenge for the Yankees.
It's a big challenge going on the road and losing these 3 in a row. And now looking up at Tampa Bay, this is a team in turmoil right now. There was a little discussion yesterday about who should be in the lineup and who shouldn't be, but they're trying to find their identity. I don't think they have one at this time.
I'll tell you what, the hard part about that road trip is the 2-game road trips are terrible. You come and you unpack your bag for the first game. You come to the next game and you're back in your suit and you're back packing your bag again. And baseball is such a routine sport, and there's no routine in a 2-game road trip.
Exactly.
And again, with no off days, no chance to skip a struggling starter. So again, Bartolo Colon, Freddie, I'm not saying that he's struggling, but Colon, Garcia, Ivan Nova. I mean, the Yankees need a lot out of the back end of their rotation. And you know, a story that we haven't discussed is CC Sabathia is not having a banner year so far this season, and that's huge for them. They need their horse to pitch like the ace that he's been.
He's been a slow starter. He's lost weight. He's taking seriously his body and pitching for a long time. He's got a lot on the line. They've given him a lot of run support at 3-3 with the 3.47. A.J. Burnett has made a turnaround. I think Mr. Rothschild, the pitching coach, has done a great job remaking his mechanics and also his mentality. He's much more aggressive in the strike zone this year. He's been a big key to their start.
But this won't be about coaching nor managing. This will be about the players getting their act together, playing the kind of defense they can, getting the big clutch hits like they can, and pulling together as a group, as the Yankees usually do.
Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
We're at 18 pitches now with Mariano. You see there down in the lower right corner. I don't think we're going to get much over 22 or so.
Bigger break on that pitch there as it misses inside, and the count runs full on Drew. Teixeira is going to come off the bag and play behind the runner, Youkilis, at first base. (7-5) Boston, top of the 9th inning. There goes the runner, and it's low, ball 4. MLB.TV, baseball everywhere. Watch over 100 live out-of-market games per week online and on your favorite device. Visit MLB.TV for details. Sunday Night Baseball here on ESPN. The Yankees and Red Sox. Dan Shulman, Bobby Valentine, Oral Hershiser, and Jed Lowry. 0 for 3, also has a sac fly as he hits the first pitch softly out to second to end the inning. Boston will take a 2-run lead at the bottom of the 9th. 3 outs away from a sweep here in the Bronx in their first visit to the 500 mark this season. It's all up to Jonathan Papelbon, entering hostile territory here at Yankee Stadium. As the Red Sox closer makes his way in, he will face Curtis Granderson, Mark Teixeira, and Alex Rodriguez in the bottom of the 9th inning, with the Red Sox up by 2. 7-5 Boston, 3 outs away from a win. We'll be back with the bottom of the 9th after this. For the ninth here at Yankee Stadium with the Red Sox leading the Yankees 7-5. Papelbon picked up his 6th save of the season Friday night here in the opening game of this series. He's only had 7 opportunities, and he has converted on 6 of them. Does not figure to be easy. Granderson, Teixeira, Rodriguez, and if anybody reaches, Cano. There comes Granderson, who's already homered tonight. He's got 13 on the season already. If it holds up, John Lester's going to pick up the win. Gave up 4 runs, all earned in 6 innings on 5 hits, struck out 7. Lester looking to go to 5-1 on the season. Freddie Garcia would get stuck with the loss. Save situation for Papelbon. High ball 1. Lester, Aceves, Bard got 4 big outs. Now Papelbon in the 9th. Ball 2.
Just the way the manager draws it up, you know, get a 2-run lead and then bring the closer in to walk the leadoff hitter, right? I mean, that just makes it exciting anyway. You know,
it's good for ratings.
Yeah, great for ratings. You know, maybe excite the people who are left here at Yankee Stadium. You know,
that's when you motion to the trainer, bring the antacids down.
Oh my! He's taken, throw a strike.
He's not taking, fouls it back, 2-1.
I lied. I gave him a take sign.
He missed. He wasn't looking up here, though.
No, he missed it.
2 outs and the bases loaded. Jorge Posada would be up.
Oh.
Two and 2. The Yankees led early, got a run in the first. We're up 1-0. They were up 4-1 at the end of 2. The Red Sox tied it in the 3rd on a 3-run home run by Kevin Youkilis. How many times have I told you to tie your shoes before you come out of the bullpen?
That's one of the things you do right before you leave the bullpen. Yep.
Only twice in the last 25 years have the Red Sox swept a series of 3 or more games here at Yankee Stadium. 3 outs away from doing that here tonight. They would also move within a game of the Yankees for 2nd place in the American League East. Got him. 1 down here in the 9th inning.
That's what you call making a pitch. Hot hitter can't just lay one down the middle. You throw to the inside corner, which is the harder of the 2 corners to get a called strike, and you make the pitch right on the corner.
So 1 down for Mark Teixeira. 2 for 4. And a pop-up. Youkilis at 3rd. 2 down. A loss tonight would be the 5th in a row for the Yankees and their 9th in their last 12 games. Heading on the road down to Florida to start a series with the top team in the American League East right now, the Tampa Bay Rays, beginning tomorrow night. Here's Alex Rodriguez. He is 1 for 4, doubled. Also committed an error that allowed Boston to score a run. On maybe the slowest hit ball of the whole game. It got through A-Rod. Cheating a little bit to try to make the play at 3rd before he had the ball. Up and in, ball 1.
It's really not like the Yankees to give up leads that they get early in the game, and not like the Yankees to give the other team runs in big series.
Couple of home runs in his career off Papelbon. Needs to get on to get Cano up there as the potential tying run. Yankees down to their final out. Well, Papelbon hasn't been messing around so far tonight. Here it is, fellas. See if you can hit it.
2-run lead. I'm just coming right after you. I'm going to challenge you. I'll tell you what, closers have the most creative license, the most leeway for their pre-pitch routine, and also for their ability to tie shoes.
Maybe he should get
the third time.
Maybe we should get him some Velcro shoes or something so he doesn't have as much of a problem.
It's a really long shoelace.
He's got the shoelaces going. He's got the breath going. He's got the come set and stare in going.
You know, normally he's such a quick-paced pitcher out there on the mound.
For molasses.
There's the splitter that's fouled off, and it's 1-2. Well, he's shown him the high fastball and the down below the knees splitter, and the Yankees are down to their final strike.
He can throw whatever he wants right here.
Gonzalez over near the seats, but it's back out of play. Tomorrow night, the Phillies and the Cardinals here on ESPN. The Monday night game. Wednesday night, it'll be the Rockies in Philadelphia. And then 1 week from tonight, we'll be in Boston as the Chicago Cubs come to Fenway. Interleague play begins on Friday. We are about 3 hours and 40 minutes and 334 pitches into this game.
That pitch right there sets up the split in the dirt or the high fastball. Just don't come back with the same exact pitch. You got the mid-range window for the fastball you can work off of.
Missed with the high fastball.
He does not want to get to the guy on deck. The game for Jonathan Papelbon is at the plate because Cano on deck is a major threat.
Slider there on the 2-2 pitch. And fouled out of play by A-Rod. Pitch number 3, really, Oral, in his arsenal on that 2-2 pitch.
Well, 2-2, you don't want to go to 3-2. Cano on deck, 5 for 17. No home runs, but he has hit him at a 294 clip.
Got a piece of the fastball. A-Rod stays alive.
When he's gone to get him out, he's gone with pitches that are just out of the strike zone. I think he can throw something that looks like it's down the middle, either the high fastball down the middle or the split finger right down the middle, and just make sure they don't end up strikes. All these pitches are heading towards the corner or heading towards too high, and Alex is just fighting them off. The split finger right down the middle.
That's what he got. Weak ground ball to third. Charged by Youkilis, and the Red Sox win it. They overcome a couple of early deficits. They sweep the series, their first sweep here in the Bronx since 2004. And they move to the 500 mark for the first time this season. After starting the year 2-10, they are 18-10 since. So now 20 wins, 20 losses for the Red Sox. Tonight's Chevrolet player of the game is designated hitter David Ortiz. He singled, doubled, homered, 3 for 5 overall, helping to lead the Red Sox to the win and sending the Yankees to their 5th loss in a row as they drop to 20-18 on the season. Again, the final score from the Bronx: the Red Sox 7, the Yankees 5. Coming up next, stay tuned here on ESPN for SportsCenter. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Oral Hershiser, Bobby Valentine, Wendy Nix, and Buster Olney, I'm Dan Schulman saying good night from Yankee Stadium. Thanks for watching. So long from the Bronx. Now let's send you back to the studio. Here's SportsCenter.